Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Okay, here we are. I'm playing around with a different setting type of thing. So I'm going to play around with a few things and see what happens. I can add a few things on here now, like getting old does not last for very long. We'll discuss about that a bit later on. The background that I've got is this is my home where I live, and that's where the sun comes up there. And this is my view. And I've got my Christmas jumper on as we're approaching Christmas time. So I thought I'll be a little bit festive and put my Christmas jumper on and see where we go from there. So thanks very much to those people who are joining me early as well. We've got 19 in the house up to now, and I'm 5 minutes early. So is the sound okay? Just give it a thumbs up and say, yes, the sound's okay. Yes, I've had a haircut. Yes, I've had my ears lowered. I'm getting all ready for my holidays. I'm all excited. We're only 2 days away now from going on our holidays. So Monday, Tuesday is the final days before we're ready to go. And then we leave on Wednesday morning, the 18th. So good evening from Cowie Land, guys, in New Zealand. Hello. Sound is great. Fantastic. So again, this is a whole new setup for me type of thing. It's StreamYard. I used to do the streams by YouTube, but you were very limited to what you can do. And I'd just like to be able to add a little bit more content as we're going through, rather than me just rattling on for 3 hours as it usually is. So I've got the car moved out. So if the wife comes back early, she can move the motorbike in. So I'm not disturbed. I've got a light set up, which you won't be able to see in the background. All my bits and pieces are plugged in. I had a play around yesterday getting everything set up, so hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes well today. And 24 in the house already. Thank you very much for everybody for joining me. So Rio, you're looking younger, younger and healthier, and a little bit fitter as well, because I've just finished my keto end of 10-week video, and I'm down to 101. I'd like to have got down to 100, but sadly that never happened. So I'm happy at 101 because I've lost 10.4 kilos, which is just over 22 pounds, I believe. So about a stone and a half, and I feel much better for that type of thing. My clothes fit better. I went and bought some new shorts and shirts for going away on holiday. So, yeah, I feel much younger myself. I feel happy. The sun is out with blue skies. Why shouldn't I feel happy and excited? I'm going on holiday as well next week. So yeah, everything in the garden is rosy. I'm happy. Everything's going well. Again, doing this live stream. I am going to do another live stream on January the 2nd up in Perth. My Canadian friend who never ever been to Thailand before. We met just over a year or so ago, and a lot of things has happened to him. He's retired in Thailand now. He's moved over here full time, and he's married a Thai girl. So his channel is Retired Don't Give Up. Dave is his name. So give his channel, have a look, and we're going to do a live stream together. He's Canadian, so we're going to do two, one on the 2nd and one on the 3rd. One for my UK audience and one for his Canadian audience at 8 o'clock the following morning on the 3rd of January. So, yeah, we're going to start doing these. Opinion was that people would like to see it a bit more often, maybe once a week. So let's play by ear. We'll go for once a week, and if it gets too much type of thing, then I'll do it once every fortnight. But it does get well looked after. I mean, I usually get about 2,000 views per live stream, which I'm more than happy at that. And as if everybody gives it a thumbs up, it means people want to know more details about it. So what we've got, if anybody's got any questions, just put a Q at the beginning of it, and so I can see it's a question. The comments on here are a little bit bigger, so I can see them better without my glasses, thankfully. I've got me Retired and Living the Dream mug. Anybody want one of these mugs? They are 300 baht plus postage, and I can send them anywhere in Thailand. But sadly, I can't send them anywhere around the world because the Thailand won't post them. Good afternoon, David. Or good morning, David. You're up early. 24 in the house should be 34 thumbs up then. I can't see whether we've got how many thumbs up we've got where it says. That's maybe one thing it doesn't show on this StreamYard. It tells me I've got 36 people looking, but I can't see anywhere where it says thumbs up. But anyway, we'll go. As I say, we're still playing around with this. It's still all new to me. And so YouTube was my friend over the past couple of days. Billy Bob, thanks very much for joining me. The van that rocked. Jeff in Portugal. It was one of the places I wanted to get to there, Jeff, but I never ever got to Portugal. I booked to stay in the into a hotel once, but the wife at the time then we sort of went through a bad time, and I didn't want to pay to stay in Portugal for 2 months. So sadly, we never got to Portugal, but Portugal was certainly on my list to go and have a look. Question. Good morning, Les. I would really appreciate a newbie video guide for Thailand. Do you think you would ever think of doing one in your usual non-nonsense style? I can do that. I used to take newbies around Pattaya. That was always an interesting event. And we do a service. If somebody wants to come to Thailand and they're a little bit nervous and shy, I was that guy. In 2002. I wasn't one with the ladies and things like that. So coming to Thailand, it was very, very overwhelming and very overpowering. And it's just like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? Getting all that female attention, false and fake it may be, but there is splatterings of genuality and genuine girls out there, but they're very, very hard to find. So what we do, we can, for the price of 2 nights hotel accommodation in Pattaya, we'll sort of guide you by the hand and take you into the bars and to take you into the go-go bars, the soapies and things like that, and just show you the way. It's not difficult. Once you've seen it for 1 night, it's not difficult at all. It is quite easy. You're not going to get ripped off like you may do. Well, my friends did in Prague and Budapest. It's not like that at all. It's people friendly, if you like. So we offer that service, but if you don't want that service, I understand. That's no problem whatsoever. But yes, I can do a newbie. I've done quite a few newbie videos over the years with regard to what I look out for. And if you have a look in the comments below, not the comments below, the information below, more information. I've several ebooks available on my Buy Me a Coffee link, and that's for the people who are just coming to Thailand, where to look, what to do. And there's a good guide there on internet dating, which is quite popular. And that just tells you a few of the pitfalls and what to look out for. And the little red flags, once the little red flags start to wave, then you should obviously be aware. And as a seasoned inhabitant of Thailand, I've been here for 12 years. I know a little bit about, and I meet people almost on a weekly basis with regard to people coming to Thailand, online dating, long distance relationships, somebody they've just met and picked up or whatever. So basically, there probably isn't a story I haven't been told. I don't preach all of these stories. There are a couple of YouTubers. That's all they do is tell subscribers stories. As I say, I've got hundreds and hundreds of stories that people have told me. Some good, some bad, some mediocre type of thing. And but good stories don't make entertaining videos. Bad stories, you get all of the views on the bad stories, sadly. But I'm a positive person, and I believe in positive news, positive stories. And it's nice when you can talk about people who haven't been ripped off or lost everything because of what they've done in Thailand. And that's quite possible. That's very easy to do. I say I live a good lifestyle here. I live a far better lifestyle here than I ever could in the UK. And so we're going to go on about that. There's loads of topics I want to talk about today. So 3 hours will just go by like that. But yes, I will do sort of a toned down newbie video with regards to coming here, what to look out for. And again, I've talked to and helped many people come here as newbies and settle. They've got the girlfriend, And so we've given some guidance and advice for that. We're not marriage counselors or guidance, but we've sort of, when you talk to somebody who knows what the score is and what's going on, then forearmed is forewarned, isn't it? Or forewarned is forearmed, something like that. It's one of the two, isn't it? But the information that we can give you will literally save you thousands and thousands of baht. And I had nobody like that when I first came. My friend who brought me, we were on a 2-week holiday. Then he went back to England, and I was on my own for a month or so after that, on my own. And I made mistakes, and I put my foot in it, and I did some silly things. And I didn't lose a lot of money, but I lost some money. Naivety, stupidity, gullibility. Yeah, that's another word for it. Gullibility and feeling sorry for people. So you get the old violins out type of thing. And yes, it does happen. It's happened to me. So I stick my hand up and say, yeah, I'm guilty of that. I've done that. So basically what everybody else has done, I've done as well. Hello there, Bill Simpson. Yep, hope I am well and very fine. All excited now, Bill, because we're almost ready to go on our holiday. And just to give people a little sample of where we're going to go, we're going to go to here. This is Ban Rak Thai, and we're going to stay in one of them houses just along there. Now, this is over the lake of Ban Rak Thai, supposedly one of the most beautiful villages in Thailand. So we're going to stay there. And that's our view. I've got my drone fixed, ready to go into to Ban Rak Thai and Chiang Mai and Pai. It should be good. It should be a good holiday. But we're going to Pai also. This is Pai. We've been here several times. Such a wonderful, beautiful location. And it's misty like that over the mountains. And the views are spectacular. So we're going to there. And then for New Year's Eve, we are going to let our lanterns off in Chiang Mai. So just look, that's a wonderful. I mean, this is a separate location. It's like a big mountain type of thing where everybody lets them off. But we're doing it in the city centre in Chiang Mai. And so it's Ban Rak Thai, 17 hours away from here, or 17-hour drive. Then we're going to Pai. Then we're going to Chiang Mai. And then we're going to see my friend in Pair. Then we're going to go and see Ploy's mum and dad at her farm. Then we're going to go and see my friend Mark at Trat. So when all said and done, we're probably away for about a month. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. The car's been all serviced and maintained and ready for the journey. And I'll come on to about the car because there's plenty of people ask me questions about the car. And I'll come on to the car a little bit later on in the show. So that's sort of a lot to get through, isn't it? So, yeah, we all make mistakes in the start, mate. Just some people don't learn by them. Yeah, yeah, I've seen that people can make some silly mistakes, I think, you know. But I say, if anybody wants to if anybody wants to ask anything you like, there's nothing that I can't answer on here. And if I can't answer it, I will find out and send the details to you. Now, you can always, anybody who wants to send me an email on this link below. See all of these little gadgets that this StreamYard can do. It's fantastic. So hopefully I'd just like to be able to get to master it and be able to do things like this, you know, which adds more, you know, more information and things like that to the live stream. As I say, because me trattling on, yakking on for 3 hours or so, it's a long time. But I like the interaction because, as I say, I'm a mind of information. The sort of, I don't think I've ever been stumped by any questions yet. But I also do, if you want a one-to-one call with me, what you can do, you can set up a WhatsApp call, and that call lasts for an hour or 3 hours, as long as you want, and ask any questions that you want to ask. And if you don't get any answers that you want, then you don't pay the $10 for the chat. There are other YouTubers who give out the same information for like £45 for a 30-minute call, which you've got to pay up front. before you organise the call. And with me, if you want to make the call, you make the call. And if you don't get the information that you wanted, then you don't pay at all. I can pass you on to details for workarounds for various visas, visa agents, things like that. Having lived here for 12 years, I know quite a bit about it. And as I say, there's no catches to anything. I don't get any commissions off anybody. It's just being honest and open, and then I can pass your details on to other people. And as I say, there's no catches in it. So that's my little plug for me. So what we're going to talk about today. One of the things, again, I sell ebooks on my site as well. For the price of a cup of coffee, which is $3, there's various ebooks. And what we're going to start off with this one is getting old doesn't last long. And this is the case now, isn't it? Because now the government want you to work for much, much longer. They want you to be able to work until 67, it is now, soon to be 68, soon to be 70. I'll come on to that one about how easy it would be for a non-electrician layman to set up a solar power setup similar to you. I thought before I read it, it was setting up a business over as an electrician. It can be done, no problem. There are plenty of places, information that you can get on Google. Funny enough, as I'm a qualified electrician, household electrics and domestic electrics, no problem. But the electrics on the solar system are different. I made a video about a 450 watt solar panel. You would think another 450 watt solar panel would be exactly the same, but no, it isn't. As I made a mistake on that, wrong voltage, wrong amperage, even though they were both from the same company, there were two different panels, but 450 watts. So it was a learning curve, even for me as an electrician. The cable running and things like that wasn't a problem. The connections wasn't a problem. But again, the amperages is so much bigger because it's a 24 volt system that I've got. And that makes a big difference because the cable sizes that you have to put in your battery are 35 and 50 square millimeters, when I'm usually playing around with 2.5. And the biggest cable that you'll get for showers is 10 mil. But here I am putting crimps onto 35 and 50 mil cables. So, yeah, it was a learning curve for me as well. And again, YouTube is your friend. And I'm going to do a step-by-step guide, because I've been asked by several people of my emergency backup system, which comes in very, very handy. It's been on for a couple of times these past months. Last month, it came on twice because they were putting new electricity cables up. So the power was out for 9 hours or so. So the emergency backup came in and my proper solar system was in there as well. So it all worked. It's fantastic. Solar is fantastic in Thailand because we get plenty of sunshine. Hal is quality great with the new app. Thank you very much for that. Again, I'll have to have a look at for the rerun. I have got a bit of an upgrade for the first week, so maybe it's the picture quality. I think 720 at the minute. I think it's on 1080, but I don't know. I'm going to have a look and see where it's worth. But anyway, let's go. Let's talk about this one. Getting old doesn't last for very long, and again with this, getting old is not too long. Why isn't it getting so long? Because nowadays, the fact that they're asking you to work till you're 70 years old. So you've worked best part of 50 odd years, 55 years to get to retirement, and they're asking you to retire at the age of 70, or that's what they're looking at. So at the age of 70, and why is exploring getting old doesn't last for very long? Because okay, they say we're lasting longer for living wise, for health wise, and things like that. But because of that, they're asking you to work longer. So the retirement period, I mean, I was lucky I retired at the age of 50, and I've loved every single minute of it. There are other people who don't want to retire because they feel that they're a cog in a machine, and once the cog's been thrown out, they feel useless, or they feel not able to be a part of society. You just have to look for other interests and do things like that. But you don't have to, you work to live, you don't live to work, in my mind. And it's the best thing I ever did, retirement. But there are other two friends of mine that I talked them into retiring at work and regretted it. And one of them came out with the expression, he said, at work in the fire brigade, he was a big fish in a little pond, and now he's a little fish in a massive lake. And that's where he feels that he lost the responsibility. So, you know, it comes to us all the time with different things. Like I said before, learn new things at a risk of falling. When all said and done, whatever job that you did, such as like driving a car, painting, decorating, electrics, or doing, you know, anything practical, one stage you were never ever been able to do it, but you just learn how to do it. And it's the same when you get old, because when you get older, you've got more time, you've got more free time. And as somebody put it to me once, a multi-millionaire still only has 24 hours in the day. It's what he does in them 24 hours makes him the millions of pounds. So you can actually spend more time learning courses and things like that. The internet, website design, painting, crafts and things like that. And I've got to say, I'm never, ever, ever, ever bored at all. The days for me just go by like that. I help out at Michelle's cat sanctuary one day a month. So that fills in me time, you know, because I'm a DIY practical type of person. I help other people as well. Electrics, I keep my hand in with the electrics every now and then. If somebody wants some advice, then I'll go around and offer my advice as far as the electrics are concerned. And I help other people out. Being a helpful person, you've always got people who are asking for your services. That keeps your mind busy as well. Doing the YouTube. Now, this is just a hobby for me. I enjoy doing it. And the live streams, I enjoy doing it as well. My wife thinks it's funny because when she sits and watches me, she said, you're talking alone because there's nobody actually talking back to me. So she thinks it's quite incredible. I can talk alone for up to 3 hours. But again, it all adds to the flavors, doesn't it? You know, again, as I say, new friendships and new things to do when you get old. You join your bridge club, cars clubs, you know, cycling club, walking clubs. You've got a lot more things. And basically, when we're young, we think we've got infinite life. Do you remember when you were 18, 20-year-old and burning the candle at both ends with nightclubs and singing and dancing and holidays and stuff like that? And when you get to my age, I'm 64-year-old now, so coming up to retirement age, I've still got just short of 2 years to go now before I get my state pension. At 20-year-old, I got told I could retire at 50. And at 20-year-old, thinking of retiring at 50, you think, wow, you're an old person then. So a 65-year-old at that time was very, very old. And here I am now approaching that. And I don't feel old. I still want to do many, many things. I've still got my big bucket list of stuff that I want to do. But I've done many, many things anyway. But that's just the way it goes, isn't it? Couldn't believe it. Decided to renew visa at the same time as doing a 90 days report. They're still insisting having the money in the account for a year. Bank couldn't do the statements for a year till 5 days. Yeah, again, Martin, with regard to visas and things like that, you do have to keep your eye on the ball. And a friend of mine changed from the income method at 65,000 to 800,000. He lost his visa. He had to go allow and reapply for it again. Before you do anything with regard to that, it's always best to go down and have a word with the visa immigration officers themselves, and they will keep you right, because they don't want to cause any extra paperwork either. But yeah, I'll come on to my story with regard to my marriage visa in a little while. So life, hobbies and things like that, and interests. If you get a hobby or interest, things like that, the days go by really, really quick. Live your life to the fullest. I mean, there's so many people say to me, well, what if you get sick? What if this? What if that? What if the other? What if the other? You know, and my answer to that, well, what if you don't? I'm a glass half full type of guy, and I'll live and do the things that I want to do. You can't alter the past, but you can alter the future. And you don't live in the past, because if you live in the past and woe is me, then you're never going to go forward, are you? The only person that can live your life is you. And if you want to live unhappy life and regretful life, then you can do that quite easily. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. You're the master of your own life, master of your own fortune. So go ahead and enjoy your life. Again, life is short. We all know how much money we've got in the bank, but not one of us knows how long we're going to be able to spend it for. Again, being in the fire service for 30 years, I went to so much death and tragedy, and and my thoughts for some of the car crashes that we went to 10 minutes ago, they were still alive, and now they're not. So again, accidents happen, heart attacks, strokes, things like that, illness. You never know what's going to come around the corner. So don't regret not doing the things that you want to do now, and just say, don't put them off. Don't be one of them other people, OMYs, one more year and I'll do it. One more year, I'm going to do it, because you might run out of OMYs 1 more years. So, how you can make the most of life? Obviously, planning, get all your ducks in a row. There's no need to live in the country that you live in at the minute. That's maybe so expensive to live in. Look further afield, look outside of the box. I'm a great believer in looking outside of the box, because it's more exciting living outside of the box. Remember, all of them first timers, no matter what you did in life, first house, first marriage, first divorce, first kiss, first girlfriend, etc., there's many firsts. Them firsts never stop. So when you get to retirement, it's the first time you've been retired. It's the first time you maybe been abroad. It's the first time that you've tried new things. So always have a first, always have something else to do. And to say, if anybody wants this booklet here, then I'll give them it for free. Again, just send an email to this address and I'll send you this booklet. It's not too long. I think it's about 16 pages or something like that. But so yeah, 16 pages long. If you want this book type of thing, I'll send it to you for free, because at the end of the day, we all like to read something, and if it inspires other people to be able to do these things, well, I prefer that as well, to show other people the way, like I do people who come to Thailand and things like that. So yeah, so that's that. Don't worry, getting old doesn't last for very long, and truer words. If you want that, just send me an email at the bottom and I will send it to you. I'm only here for another 2 or 3 days, and the rest of the time we're traveling, but I'm taking my computer with me, so if anybody asks for it, I'll send them to it. I'm going to do a lot more videos in Ban Rak Thai, Pai and Chiang Mai also. So I've got all my stuff packed away just now, just ready for the big trip. Eyelash from Royet, got the same 24-volt solar, runs great power. Mr. Controller never missed a beat in 2 years. Oh, good. Mine went off during the middle of the night because it was a very, very cloudy day, and we sort of had a lot of electric on yesterday, and it clicked into the where the grid ties the battery up. And I put the lead into an extension lead, which blew the fuse on that. So when I got up this morning, there was no power, everything had tripped off type of thing. I thought, wow. And then, but I realized, because I'd plugged it into a lead, an extension cord, and it blew the little fuse. So drama over. But yeah, it works fine. All the fans, the TV, the computer, everything else works off that. And it's only yesterday, because we had an exceptionally cloudy day yesterday, the batteries never got charged up fully. So it's a learning curve, isn't it? But solar power is fantastic. Hashia, go solar. Yeah, solar is fantastic. So again, as far as other people is concerned, I've got other ebooks, on this one, like Retire and Live the Dream in Thailand. And this goes on about, this is another ebook that I've got in my shop, and it just goes about places to live and things like that. General descriptions of where to go, what to do, money, visas, all sorts of things. So yeah, again, that one is on the website, not website, my coffee shop as well, my coffee link. And again, I've got all sorts of things, and to say the most popular one on there at the minute is the one about the internet dating. There's my better half, Ploy, my wife, who's out selling sausages today. So yeah, okay. Has anybody got any questions? Good day from Australia. Good afternoon from Thailand to Australia. It'd be almost evening there now. I think, was it 2 or 3 hours ahead? Good afternoon from a cooler Bangkok. Yeah, it's cooler. It's cooler here. There was a bit of a nip in the air this morning when I got up. It was lovely though. But where we're going to up north, Ban Rak Thai and Pai, it's much colder. The wife's got a load of warm clothes from TikTok. Good evening, Scott from New Zealand. How the hell are you? Nice to hear from you, Scott. Thanks for joining. Okie dokie. So what else have we got? Back to the comments. So yeah, if anybody's got any questions that they want to ask, New Zealand, yeah, New Zealand. We were cold. That was probably the only country that we were cold in, New Zealand, when I went on the round the world trip. So I've got this. It's a Singha, and it's 0 calorie lemon and lime drink. Beautiful. 0 calories. It's lovely. So going on from that, the car. The car. Such a lot of interest from the people with regard to my car. And we decided to keep the car. So many people said, keep the car. Why are you getting rid of it? And sat having a talk with the wife, and I said, yes, okay, we're going to keep the car. So we've done 1 or 2 things to the car because we decided to keep it. When all said and done, it's only got 70,000 kilometers, which isn't a lot, and it's 5 years old, and it's been maintained all the time from Nissan. It goes well. There's nothing wrong with it. So I was going to sell it. I was going to put it in part exchange, but as everybody has said, I'd get a rubbish exchange deal from the dealerships, and they were 100% correct. The trade-in was crap. The book value of the car was about 300,000 if you bought it from a garage, and basically I was looking for about 280 to 300,000, and the garages give woefully a lot lower than that, and I would have just felt like I'd give it away, and so I was never going to do that. One of my friends offered to buy it off me, but I said, having the discussion with Ploy, and we said, no, let's keep the car. So we got, although the tires were still okay, we got some brand new tires put on the car. We had the suspension wings because the rubbers had become a little bit perish, so we renewed them. And we also got a new TV screen inside of the car because with the maps on, the old one that we had, it wouldn't take any more updates. So the map system on the old camera system, on the old TV system, was very, very slow. We also got one of them cameras that records your journey as well, and we've got a new back camera. So we roughly spent about 20,000 baht for doing all the bits and pieces to the car. And now it just drives like a brand new car. It's solid. It goes well. I like the camera, the TV with the maps. We can have joint YouTube and the maps on there. We've got the reversing camera, and we've got the camera that records the trip, which is always good. That gives you 10% off my motor insurance policy next year. I should have got it done really before we got the insurance for the car. But never mind, 10% off it next year. That'll do me. So the car I'm going to give it one last wash on Tuesday and spit and polish and hoover it all out. The wife's done all the packing, about 60% packed now, ready for the trip to Ban Thai. Yeah, keep the car. The Nissan are good for another 200,000 kilometers for sure, especially if you know a good mechanic nearby. Sadly, I don't know a good mechanic. We took it to Nissan the other day and we took it away from, and I'll tell you that story a little bit later. We've got a garage that we sort of trust now at the end of the day. But when I lived in the UK, I was 2 doors away from a police mechanic. He used to work for the police as a car mechanic. And he was as honest as the days long, very reliable. And he used to do me cars up. So I never, ever had any problem. I know many things. I can do lots of things, but touching cars, fixing cars, I haven't the first clue of what to do with a car. I don't even open the bonnet. You know, the garage looks at everything that's under the bonnet. So I've got to say, I don't know anything more about cars. So I rely on trustworthy people. And sometimes they can be not so trustworthy in Thailand as well. The same in every country. Big dealerships try to fleece you for as much money as they can. Again, I'll come on to that story a little bit later on because it's an interesting story. Good morning, Les. We're talking to Kev at Warrenby on Friday. He's not 64 until January, but he doesn't get the retirement until 67. Have you double checked on yours? Yeah, absolutely, 100%, Dave. October the 2nd, 2026, that's when I get mine. So because he's a year younger than me, he's not 64, because he's a year younger than me, it started in the April. So anybody that was born in May, from the May after the April of when they decided to make it, it's their 66th and 1 month. So for me, I'm 66 in the July, so it's 66 and 3 months. So yeah, so I've got it 100% certain and guaranteed when I'm 66 and 3 months. That's when the big holidays, because all my state pension is going to be is just holiday money, and I can't wait for that. I don't want to be 66, but it'd be nice. It takes the sting out of the tail when you get another £600 a month or so. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Excuse me. What was the finance going to be for the new car? Seems like they pay for years before they actually own the car. Yeah, I mean, as we were looking for 300,000 for the car, and it was going to be about 600,000, so 50-50 basically, and the finance for that over 4 years was going to be in the regions of 7,000 baht per month for 4 years. I've got the money that I could pay cash for it, but the APR was quite low anyway. It wasn't too ridiculously high. So now we've decided to keep the car. Doesn't make any odds, and it's sort of free motoring now, isn't it? So the 20,000 that we spent on the car, while we're a difference as far as comfort level is concerned, it's lovely. Do you think the exchange rate will get better over time? I don't know. I don't know about that. At one time we were getting to 46 and 47, and now it's dropped down to 43. So it's a bit like a roller coaster ride here in Thailand. Swings and roundabouts, I say, like this. Okay, we have to pay a little bit more money when the exchange rate goes down, as it is now 43. When it was 45 and 46, it made, another 60 or 70 pounds a month difference for me. So that is quite a lot, 60 or 70 quid, isn't it? But when you look at everything else, petrol's cheap. There's no council tax. Rents are cheap. Food is cheap. Getting around is cheap. And it's always going to be cheap. So I take the rough with the smooth with regard to the exchange rate. At the minute, it's 43 to the pound. I don't know what it is to the dollar. But at the dollar at one stage, I think it got to 37 for a dollar, which was exceedingly high. Swings and roundabouts, no matter where you are. You've just got to look on worst case scenario on the amount of money that you can live on and do the exchange rate, and then you know where you're going from. It did drop down to as low as 37 after Brexit. And that was very, very low. And boy, did I struggle. So if you think 37 compared to 43, It's a big difference. Right, what is the difference between the O visa and the OA visa and a 90-day visa? Right, the O visa and OA visa. O visa can be applied for within Thailand, and that's like O visa based on marriage or O visa based on retirement. The OA visa is a visa that you can apply for outside of Thailand, like OA based on marriage and OA based on retirement. But with the OA visa, you've got to show for the duration of your stay an insurance policy, which can be quite expensive. So the OA visa is sort of losing favour with regard to people wanting an OA visa. My advice is come in on the 90-day exemption visa. So that's 60 days, you get 60 days straight away, then you can extend that for 30 days. So that gives you 90 days. Then you just do a border hop, go to Cambodia or Laos for a day, come back and you get another 60 day, which is extendable for another 30 days. So now there's up to 180 days and you can do it one more time within the year, Cambodia or Laos, and you get another 60 days and another 30 days. So, 270 days in total, you can live here just doing that visa exemption when you arrive. And it's not expensive to do. To extend it for the 30 days, it's 1,900. There are plenty of people that do the border runs for 2,000 or 3,000 baht, and you're there and back within a day in a comfortable van from Pattaya, or you can even go from Bangkok type of thing. There are agents that do it as well. So yeah, it's no big deal. I would say, if you're coming here for a long time, don't get the OA visa because you'll have to get the insurance. Whereas if you get the O visa in Thailand, then you don't have to have proof of insurance. But saying that, I would recommend everybody to get insurance, because if you've got insurance, then you're covered. Because there's plenty of people, if you have an accident over and if you don't have any money, then it's not the place to have an accident, is it? Travel insurance is cheap, fairly cheap type of thing. So I wouldn't expect anybody to travel around Thailand without insurance. Score Guru, hey up, Les, how's it going? Good to see you on the live again. How much does the 90-day visa cost? It costs you nothing. Sorry, yes, it does. It costs you 1,900 baht to extend it for the 30 days. A visa on exemption is free. So you just land, get off the plane, they'll stamp your passport for 60 days. But doing that, they will ask, 9 times out of 10, they'll ask for a flight out of Thailand. So you're best off doing a cheap flight to Cambodia or Laos or something like that, say on the day 59 hours. Well, any time really, and then just cancel that flight, because they don't insist that you take it. Or you can get, if you want to be really cheapskate, get a bus ticket that takes you by bus for about a tenner from Bangkok or something like that to the Cambodia. As long as you've got proof of your exit in Thailand within them first 60 days, you'll have no problem. And then once you've done the border run to get your extra 30 days, you've only got 30 days anyway. So then you'd have to do another border run, which means you're leaving the country anyway, and then you come back and get another 60 days. And if you do it like that, then on the second time, I believe they don't ask for a flight out. But again, it all depends on if you use an agent to take you on the border run, they sort all of them things out for you anyway. So agents are your friends. Can a foreigner get a loan for a car? No, yes, they can. Not officially, not a loan. My first car that I bought over here, it was on what's called a rent to buy scheme. There's a few places in Pattaya that rent cars out that also do a rent to buy scheme. So how I bought my first car is I found the car that I liked. He had 150 cars that he was selling or renting out, and you pay rental for the car for the first week, and that gives you the feeling, if you like the car, if there's anything wrong with it, then you get a feel for the car, and then if you like to buy that car, you do it over a 2, 3, 4 year period. And okay, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's it's in the car renter's name until you buy it. Pardon me. And then once you've paid the last payment, the car becomes yours then. And it's a good way of doing it because it's not Thai owned, it's not in your girlfriend's or your wife's name and things like that. So there are deals of rent to buy for motorbikes, cars, and condos as well in various places. So yes, you can't get technically a loan for it, but it's a rent to buy basis, and that's one of the ways of doing it. But you won't be able to get a loan for anything else at all. The loan that we got on the motorbike and the loan that we got on the car was in my wife's name also. But again, that saves you as well. If you put the loan in your wife's name, if anything happens, type of thing, that you split up, then you just walk away and your debt is sort of paid for if she did the dirty to you, if you like. It's just another way of being secure. But also the car or the motorbike is going to be in her name also. So there's pitfalls on both of them. But if you want to make sure that it's all in your name, go on the rent to buy scheme. Usually watching from UK Day, watching from a sunny Chai Pum. Chai Pum, okay, nice. I mean, the sun's come out now, nice now. It was quite chilly this morning, but now it's okay. UK state pension only 31% of national average wage. Yeah, the state pension is crap, isn't it? Is it best to get travel insurance in Thailand? Or I would say get it in your home country. But again, be honest with them as well, because the time to argue over insurance payouts is not in the hospital. That's not the time to argue over something like that. So if you've got any pre-existing conditions and things like that, it's always best to be truthful with them. I've got medical insurance here in Thailand, and I've had medical insurance for 10 years now, out of the 12 years I've been here. And I would advise anybody and everybody to have some sort of insurance, because if you have an accident over here, it can be quite costly. And although my medical insurance isn't for a lot of money, 700,000 baht, that cost me 25,000 baht a year for that amount of cover, which is about 600 quid. For 700,000 bahts worth of cover. But again, that's with Pacific Cross. So if anybody wants that information, just give Pacific Cross a call and they can help you out with regard to that. There is a website where you can buy throwaway tickets. Yeah, I think you can still get them for about 10 or 15 quid where you just throw it away. There's many options that you can do with that. You don't have to buy a return ticket back to your home country. Just do a one-way ticket to Thailand, then buy the cheapest Skyscanner flights anywhere around from Bangkok or wherever Chiang Mai, wherever, as long as it's exiting Thailand. You know, okay, it's a throwaway money, but it's worse. Some people try to get away with it. And basically, some people have got away with it and some people don't. But if you don't get away with it, for instance, if you just come into Thailand on a one-way flight, immigration stops you, they can demand that you buy a flight out of Thailand, and you won't be able to go on Skyscanner. You'd have to go to direct to Malaysian Airways, Vietnamese Airways, and they're always the most expensive one, where you might be able to get it for 20 or 30 quid on Skyscanner. If you went direct to their website or their account, you might have to pay 60 or 70 quid for the same flight you could have got for 10 or 15 quid. So is it worth doing it? Is it worth taking the risk? In my mind, in my book, I said no. And there's a few people have emailed me and thanked me for that bit of information because they were asked where their outward ticket was. So yeah, you know, just do it. Then you know you're going to have hassle-free. Is it? I've done that one. Home country. Get your home country travel insurance. Yeah, Chai Pum is much cooler. Again, we're looking forward to the coolness. Going up at Chiang Mai and Pai should be very, very cool. Lovely. The airline in the UK may not let you on the flight without an onward ticket. Yeah, I've heard that before. Some airlines, I mean, they don't check everyone, because I'm on a marriage visa, so I can get a one-way ticket to Thailand because I'm on a marriage visa. If you're on a retirement visa, you don't have to have an onward flight. It's only if you're on a tourist visa that you need an onward flight. If you're on a education visa, if you're on a dependency visa and things like that, you only need to show one way. But invariably, if you're on a tourist visa, then you'll have to show an outward flight. But I think that's the same also in many other countries. You've got to show that you're going to be leaving that country, so you don't become a burden on that country. Okay, what else have we got here? Yeah, talking about the frost up north, big tourist attraction. Yeah, that's what people go to Chiang Mai for, just to see the dew and the frost, the white frost on the mountains in the wintertime. And like the gardens are lovely. You know, it's a wonderful, it's a different feeling, and I'm looking forward to it. As I said, it's been a long time. Maybe it's 4 years since we were back up at Pai, and I just like Pai. We went there 3 years in a row, and my wife asked me to go somewhere else, so we started spending Christmas and New Year in other places. But now, because she wants to go to Ban Rak Thai, which is a stunningly beautiful place. I mean, this place here, Ban Rak Thai, you know, as I say, this is where we're going to be stopping, in one of them houses there. It's supposedly one of the most beautiful places, villages in Thailand, and it's got a Chinese influence. So we are going to be going to there. And we're staying there for 2 nights. It is the second most expensive hotel that I've ever stayed in Thailand. The first one being on the float house on the River Kwai, and that was 5,000 baht a night. And this one is 4,700 a night. Normally we're 1,000 to 1,500 baht a night, but because it's Christmas, it was exceptionally busy, and we wanted the view. So I thought, stuff it. We're gonna pay the little bit of extra cost, and we're going to buy a good room with a view, and hopefully the view will be worth the price. And you know, we're going to do some videos on that. I got my drone fixed, so we're off to there anyway. So I'm looking forward to it. But we've sort of just booked for the 2 nights, and so there's a night that we haven't booked anywhere. So if we like Ban Rak Thai or the surrounding areas, we'll stay there for 1 more night, and then we're going to Pai for Christmas. We're arriving in Pai on the 24th, so Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and then there's 3 or 4 days that we haven't booked anywhere yet, whether we're going to stay in the Pai or surrounding areas. But we booked in a beautiful hotel in Chiang Mai, right in the city centre, in the old town, and everywhere's walking distance. So I just parked my car up. I could have a few beers without, because I don't drink and drive. And I think that's the safest way to do. Just park the car up and walk everywhere. And Chiang Mai really isn't a big place, especially the old town of it. You can walk around everywhere, and it's just full of interesting little nooks and crannies. And we've been to Chiang Mai 3 times for New Year's, and it's just a fantastic feeling. It's very, very busy, but it's beautiful. Hello, Les. Do you know if them solar Wi-Fi CCTVs are any good? I don't know, to be fair. We have a CCTV system with a battery backup that was installed in the house before we bought it. I don't know, to be honest. I wouldn't know. I think if CCTV is an issue and you want it, you're best off putting it into the mains with the battery backup, and then you know it's going to work. Because if the birds crap on it or gets dusty and the batteries wear down, and then it might not be recording that one day that you want it. So again, I would go with a backup, with battery backup system. Spend a little bit more. It's not expensive CCTV systems here anyway. So get a decent system, and then you know it's reliable. Hi, Les. When booking hotels in Thailand, which website do you use? Booking.com and Agoda. More times than enough, Booking.com. And I always give reviews of the hotels. And majority of hotels I do a review on YouTube anyway. So we haven't really been disappointed with any of the places that we booked on Booking.com. And basically, if I go by the reviews, and if it's 8 and above, we're happy at that. Very rarely we'll book something below 7. Below 8. 7.5 sometimes. But on the whole, you know, because we only spend 1,000 to 1,500 baht a month on a night in a hotel, we don't expect a lot anyway. But as long as the bed's comfortable, the air conditioning works, even though the wife doesn't like it. I put the air conditioning on in the hotel because we paid for the room, so why not have the air conditioning on? But we don't have it on super low anyway. So yeah, again, the hotels that we've staying at in Ban Rak Thai, Pai, and Chiang Mai are a little bit above our budget. You know, heading towards north up towards 2,000. But it's Christmas and it's New Year, so it's always going to cost a little bit more money anyway. And I decided to splash out a little bit and have some really good hotels. It's not a lot, much more money to spend. Another 10 or 15 quid a night. So just go with your budget, really. I live in Chiang Mai and I'm considering moving to Rayong. If you love Chiang Mai, why don't you live there? My guess is burning season. Yeah, that's a good reason for that. I like Chiang Mai in the winter, but there's so many people who said about the burning season for 3 months of the year, it's not very nice. It's like Phuket is stunningly beautiful, but would I live there? No, I wouldn't. And it's the same with Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is beautiful, but would I want to live there? It's the burning season that puts me off. Chiang Mai is supposedly one of the cheapest places in Thailand that you can live. And there are plenty of people who like it and live up there, but there are also as many people complaining about it for the burning season. Do love the cooler climate here, though. Yeah, I mean, up in Karat, it's much cooler there where my wife is. So we've got jackets and jeans when we go there. Yeah, 100% right. Have the CCTV into the mains. The solar lights work well, though. Yeah, again, all of the, well, you can't see them, but all the lights behind me, they're all solar. And we have a solar setup for all the lights. You can probably see our house from the International Space Station. We have that many lights around it. My wife's scared of the dark. She doesn't like the dark. She doesn't like to live in the house without any light. So, again, it keeps her happy. Crime in this village is almost non-existent. We had a bunch of bananas thieved from the house over the road, and a couple of bunches of bananas stolen from a banana plantation. That's the only theft that I'm aware of in the 8 years we've lived here. So crime in the village is almost non-existent. When I retire, I want to live by the beach. I'm smack bang in the middle of the UK, and closest beach to our drive is a good day and Rill in Great. Again, I was brought up by the beach in Redcar. From the age of 11, we moved to Redcar, and that's where I like the beach. Although I don't go on the beach every day, we're 5 minutes drive away from the beach, so it's not too far to go, and it's lovely. It's a lovely beach. It's about 11 or 12 kilometers long. The sea is just like jumping into bathwater. It's beautiful, turquoise green when the sun's out and everything's flat calm. It's stunningly beautiful. Beautiful fish, clear seas. When you're snorkeling in Koh Samet, which is just beautiful. very calm, protected bays, and with the fish and the corals and things like that. It's just magical. And you can just walk straight off the beach and go snorkeling, which is beautiful. And the beach, as I say, is very, very nice. There's many times we've had a barbecue on the beach with friends, and that. It's just a relaxing day out. And although I'm surrounded by countryside here, the little village that I'm in, we're still only just 5 minutes away from the beach, 5 minutes away from a nice restaurant on the beach as well. And I've took many subscribers to Three Tree Beach, where we watch the sun go down and things like that. It's beautiful. Paul, come on, folks, 100 watching, only 40 thumbs up. I can't see the thumbs up, Dave. I must have to look up and see where the thumbs up are. I can't see any. But I'll take your word for it. Only 40 thumbs up. Thanks very much for all those people. The thumbs up all help. Everything helps. The algorithm and things like that. And my channel's growing now. Almost 13,500 subscribers. So thank you very much, all the subscribers. It's you that make the channel at the end of the day, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for you watching it, then I wouldn't be doing it. And I hope I do give value for the YouTube. And I hope you learn a lot of things from the various videos I do. A lot of videos that I do are helpful with knowledge, such as the pensions and things like that. We'll come on to that in a little while about the pensions on the workarounds and things like that, and people that I know personally who are doing it and it works. 100 watching, 44 thumbs up is actually good. Frank Travels. Okay. How was your weight now? My weight now is, I didn't get to the 100 kilos that I wanted to do. I did a video which I'll publish after I've done this live stream this morning. I got to 101 kilos. Last week I missed it because I just plateaued. I was 101.4 the week before, and I got down to 101. And that week from 101 until this week, it's still the same 101. I've stuck, even though I've been very good, and I still drink 0-calorie drinks and things like that. I was just a man on a mission to get down to 100 kilos because that was sort of a marker. But no, it was stubborn. Although I feel better in myself, I'm 101 kilos. That's still 10.4 kilos down from when I first started. It was 111. And 118 was my heaviest. So if it's 17 kilos from when I was at my heaviest, I'm 101 kilo now, and I feel my clothes feel better. In fact, I can even do some shopping now at Big C. Okay, I'm at the biggest end of the Thai clothes where I can get Thai shorts and Thai shirts and things like that, whereas before I couldn't. So that to me is a marker stone, and it's a milestone. And so yes, I can fit into normal clothes, even though they are on the larger end of the Thai clothes. I can still get my shorts and my t-shirts and my shirts now. So I'm going to watch what I'm going to eat over Christmas. I'm not going to go mad because of the hard work I've done to get down to 101. But undoubtedly, I shall go back onto the keto diet in January following Christmas and New Year, when I expect to put a little bit of weight on. And then I'm going to go for it in a big way then to try and get down to 95. So I'll still be doing the keto next year. But I love the keto diet. It's a fantastic diet because it's so easy to do. And you're only eating one meal a day, so it's not expensive to do either. And, you know, the choices of the food that you can have it's just fantastic. I'm a strong believer in the keto diet, and I think it's the easiest diet, although there are plenty of people who knock the keto diet, but it's the same with every diet. Whatever diet suits you, if you need to lose a little bit of weight, and let's face it, a few pounds lighter makes your body feel much, much better in itself. It lowers the threat of heart attacks. It lowers the threat of strokes and things like that. It helps diabetes. So many positive things of losing a little bit of weight. So I suggest anybody go on any type of diet to lose a little bit of weight in the next year. I'm surprised, Les, that you are not going down gradually. Well done, keep it on. Well, roughly, it came out at about 1 kilo a week, which is okay. I'm okay with that. It's the not feeling hungry was the best part of it. Just having one meal a day. There are some other guys who turn around and say to us about going on a water fast and stuff like that for 2 or 3 days. I think for me that's excessive, and although some days you could maybe not have anything to eat and not feel anything untoward, I just like my food. I just look, that was a treat at lunchtime that I could have something, and then when I had my yogurt or my Greek style yogurt, that was my dessert at 5 o'clock. And then after that, it never bothered. I'm not a breakfast, or never ever have been a breakfast person anyway. So in the hotels that we booked away, they're all not breakfast, because we can go and get breakfast at brunch time. So yeah, 101 kilos. I'd like to have got down to the 100, but never mind. It is what it is. 2 more days before we go away. I still might crack that 101 when I go away on Wednesday. Let's see, because I'm still being good. I'm still not cheating type of thing, because you're only cheating yourself if you cheat, aren't you? I'm on the Leo diet today. Yeah, my friend's on the Leo diet. He has about 8 to 10 bottles of Leo every day. Hi, Les, was 89 kilo, now 72 kilo. Watermelon, pineapple after meals seems to have helped me. Oh, because it's quite high in sugar, watermelon and pineapple. But anyway, well done, from 89 to 72. Wow, that's a big drop. Well done. I mean, 89 kilos. Oh, I can't remember the last time I was 89 or 90 kilos. I think I was about 15 years old. Let's have a look. Mick Nobody's worked for 10 years with the Thai government, various projects, counter trafficking and the refugee program. So understand the system very well. Okay. 1 meal a day sounds really bad. It sounds bad, doesn't it? But it isn't. It's good, because you're not hungry. So sometimes my eating window is between 12 and 5. So sometimes I eat maybe 2 or 3 o'clock thinking, I haven't had my lunch yet, so I'll have to have it. You do not feel hungry, and that's the good part about it, because if you've got your reserves of fat, then that's eating away at the fat, and you've always got some fat on your body. So your body, once it's fat adaptive, then it doesn't crave anything, because the pantry is always full, if you like. And although I'm still 101 kilo, I could do with losing another 10, 11 kilos. So there's still 10 or 11 kilos of pantry storage of fat that my body could eat if it really, really wants to. But I've been doing it for 10 weeks now. So yeah, I'm going to come off the wagon a little bit, Christmas and New Year, but I don't mind. I'll still only be having me 1 meal a day though. And I won't be going too bad on the cakes, hopefully. Who knows? But I know there's a certain restaurant we're going to go to on the way to pie. They do a very, very beautiful, nice, tasty lemon meringue pie. That's the only thing I've got in my mind, a piece of lemon meringue pie in this coffee shop, beautiful coffee shop on the way to pie. And we have to pass it, and we're going to go in it. I've gone down from 107 to 102. Notice my mums are almost gone. It's a big difference. I mean, 5 kilos, it's over half a stone. So it does make a big difference. Your diet, how tall? I'm 6'1". My proper weight should be 13 stone. What that is in kilos, I don't know. But supposedly that is the ideal weight for my height. 6'1" is 13 stone. I was 13 stone when I was about 14 or 15-year-old. Oh, So getting on to the pension, there's a lot of interest, and there's a lot of people talked about the pension and the fact that I have a workaround with it where you go and live in a reciprocal country for 6 months. And it's funny, this, isn't it? There was the lady who sort of started all of this, the pensions debacle off. She went to see Keir Starmer in England. She's an English woman that worked in the Second World War as deciphering codes and things like that. So she's a well knowledgeable English lady who ended up living in Canada. And her pension, I believe it was 1986, she retired. So she is still getting the same pension from 1986. And I think it's 56 quid a week that she gets, as opposed to 200 and odd pounds a week. And because she lives in Canada, she's never had the rise. So she came over to see Keir Starmer to see why she doesn't get the rise. Keir Starmer pushed her off and said, "Oh, the diary's full. I haven't got time to see you." Pushed her onto a junior minister, who then, I believe, the junior minister passed her on to somebody even junior than them. And basically, the answer was, we have no plans on changing the system as yet. So therefore, it is what it is. And I wrote in the comments that there was a way of doing it by living in the reciprocal country for 6 months. And I did that on GB News and Sky News, and my comments were removed. I wonder why my comments were removed. I looked for it, whether because there was thousands of comments and things like that, I don't know. But I purposely looked for my comments to see if there's any answers. There was no answers, but my comments, and I commented on both GB News and Sky News, and my comments weren't there. But it can be done. There are 3 guys now that I know that are doing it, and it's working. They get their pension rise as long as you inform them and you stay there for the 185 days during the financial April to April. You will get the new increase, and it will be with you for the rest of your life. And bearing in mind, like the people who've been retired for 4 or 5 years, that could be an extra 200 quid a month. So it's worth jumping through the hoops to be able to do that. I wouldn't use that barber again. Is that for me? Yeah, there's a little bit of toughness. But I never had a shower this morning, so maybe yeah. But I like it short. It's a number 4. And he doesn't speak English at all, but he knows a number 4. And I've been going to him for 8 years. And he's just, number 4, just sit in the chair and he does it. I'm okay, but the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut is 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, I'm up all over the place. Hello, Les. We need to talk again, as I don't think I continue to stay here in the West will reach out of you and talk. I'm available for a talk anytime. No problem. And as I said, there's various ways. I mean, I was talking to a guy yesterday with regard to moving over here. I sort of meet people on a weekly basis now, and there's a lot of people wanting to come and live over here, because at the end of the day, you know, we don't live forever, do we? And once you retire, you want to go and live the golden years of your life in a better location. And that's what people should do. You know, there's no need to suffer. I mean, wintertime now, here I am in December, and it's 20, I'll have a look, see where it is. 26, I think, is the weather forecast today. 31. 31 degrees centigrade is here now on a 4 o'clock on an afternoon. Beautiful, isn't it? What's that in England now? It'd be about 5 or 6 or something like that. Can you sit outside on your veranda, not without your fleece or your jacket and freezing cold? I don't want to be cold again. I really don't want to be cold again. I'd much sooner sit in front of a fan and keep cool than sat in front of a radiator or an electric fire trying to keep warm. Look outside of the box, people. When you get to a retirement age, there is more to life than sat over the central heating system in an overrated country such as England. Now, England is going down the pan. I've still got many good friends who still live in England, and some people say I knock England. I don't knock England. It's just my views, and I can see what's going on. And if I can see what's going on, why can't the government see what's going on? It's crazy that hard-working people are getting hammered, but those people that arrive on the black little dinghy or something like that get everything handed on a plate to them. And one in what was it, statistic the other day, out of every 7 new houses that are going to get built, 5 of them are going to be given to refugees. Crazy, isn't it? All the sand got blown all over the caravan park at Redcar, Les, and the new crazy golf being wild here, mate. It was cold in the summertime when I went to Redcar. That was summer, and statistics or the papers turned around and said it was the worst summer England has had since 2015. Crazy, isn't it? Government censorship, Les. Exactly. I mean, what's going on? Freedom of speech and things like that. If you say anything, the police are around and your door knocking on your door when all the real criminals. I mean, how shocking that the criminals got let out to let some people who said a few not so nice things on the internet, but the things that they said weren't untrue, were they? But people who got released from the prisons committing far greater crime, and the sentence being reduced by 40%. 40%, not reduced by 60%, because if you've served 40% of your time, you're released. And then how many of them committed a crime when they went? Even then, the people that were released from prison, some of them were made homeless because they had nowhere to live also. But yet the people who arrived on a black dinghy had everything given towards them. At least look after our criminals. If you put them in some sort of house type of thing or accommodation, rather than just let them back onto the streets again. It's crazy. It's crazy. We've got all of these sightings of UFOs, and the government still won't acknowledge they're real, or perhaps they're from Iran, but refuse to shoot them down. Crazy. Okay, I've got my own little spin on this, the UFOs and things like that. I like UFOs. I like the whole sound of it. I like what's going on, and especially because it's in America as well. But when the head of the Pentagon says we can't see any UFOs, we can't see what's going on, we can't see, he said that they're not threatening anything. Yeah, they might not be threatening, but nobody knows who they belong to, where they're coming from, or how they're getting here. So blasé about it, and like even top politicians are saying, do you think we're stupid? Why don't you do something about it? Why aren't things getting done about it? Let's hope it is the aliens. I'll stick my hands up. Yes, aliens, when all's said and done, they can't do a worse job than what we've done in this country. We're blowing the crap out of each other. Nuclear armaments, that'll just kill everybody to the, if they press that little red button. And let's hope the aliens are come here to sort us out, because we need some sorting out, don't we? But I just think it's funny when I see it, all the, disheartened and, frightened people and things like that. It's certainly something to think about, isn't it? Is it China? Is it? No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is, because of the technology and things like that, and the size of the drones. Some of them are the size of a bus. Now, there are some vehicles, autonomous vehicles like that have been manufactured with four or 6 rotors or something like that, like the size of a car. But I can't see them being let loose for like hundreds and hundreds of them, especially flying around at dark type of things as well. The thing that does worry me or does puzzle me, if they are drones from a alien, why have they got lights on? Why do they need lights on? You know, I'm sure if the technically advanced knows, they wouldn't need lights, would they? If they've come from the other side of the galaxy, why do they need a red and a white strobe light? We'll see, won't we? We'll see. You see what happens. But I watch with interest, and like the Americans are sort of scared because they think other people have higher technology than them. Maybe America isn't as great, as powerful as they say they are. A bit like Russia. Everybody used to fear Russia, didn't they? And the Russian army and the Russian military was a might to be contended with. But now it was shown that actually the Russians aren't as strong as what everybody thought they were. Maybe the same things happened to America. They're not as strong, as powerful, and as a almighty force as they say they are. Who knows? Happy Christmas, Les, from me here in Bangsaray. House full here, chum. Bit of a pre-Christmas party going on. Get the Thai relatives here. Off to the beach in a bit. Agree with your thoughts regarding UK. Happy Christmas, Andrew. And I got my Christmas jumper on. Yeah, if I bring it down, then it cuts half of me reindeer off. I only bring it out for special occasions and Christmas. So I've had this for 8 years, and I put it on every year for the past 8 years. And happy Christmas, and hope you have a good one. Good early Christmas and a great new year. Thanks very much for your best wishes. Yeah, apparently come from under the sea. I mean, that's a good location, isn't it? Because we know more about the moon than we do with the deepest, darkest depths of some of our seas. So, and our submarines can only go so deep anyway, can't they? So, I mean, see what happens. But some of the stories that you hear are quite amazing as to how quick they are, and from highly respectable police officers, politicians, airline pilots, military pilots. Now, they're all coming out and saying it. And I think the Americans are saying that, I'm sorry, but we can't beat them. You know, there's something more powerful than what we are. And I think that is a suck it up and see, Mr. Biden. Yeah, you're bob on there, Les. That's why I'm gearing up for my exit. I mean, we haven't had any drones spotted over here in Thailand. Maybe it's because we haven't got any nuclear bombs and stuff like that over here in Thailand. And we're quite a peaceful nation, as opposed to where they're looking at all the silos, all the armament places, you know, the Russians and the Americans and the Europeans, anywhere where there's a lot of nuclear armaments and things like that, that's where they're concentrating. So maybe that's the places that they need to be looked at. Hi, Les. A friend has returned to the UK to get his pension increases, age 69, reckon it's worth 2k. Been there a couple of months already, received increase, just waiting until April, land a job at Tesco's. Yeah, that's good. It only has to be the 6 months, isn't it? So if it's worth $2,000, it's worthwhile doing, isn't it? Again, the other cheap reciprocal country is Turkey. So even if you went to Turkey for 3 months and then England for 3 months and then come back to Thailand, as long as it's the 6 months in any reciprocal country. I mean, here's another thought about it as well, another thinking outside of the box. If they bring the tax laws into Thailand, as everybody says they're going to do, which is here we are now a year down the line and still nobody's sure. So you could be hit with a double whammy, couldn't you? Where you might have to pay tax if you're living in Thailand, and you won't get your retirement increases because you live in Thailand. So here's a bit of a conundrum for you. So why don't you go and live in the Philippines for 6 months so you get your increase, and then you don't have to pay tax in Thailand, then come back into Thailand and you're living with your pension increase. in the 6 months that you're living in Thailand. It's something that I would consider. It depended on how much tax I'd have to pay, obviously, because it has to cover the figures of if you're going to be renting a house in the Philippines or something like that. So that might be something for us to look at. We could maybe live in Laos for 6 months. We could maybe live in Vietnam for 6 months. Let's face it, as we're retired, we don't have to live here, you know. So we could have a 6 month holiday every year. I don't know. Let's see what happens with the tax and things like that. But I've always sort of got plenty of other options. If somebody wants to take more money from me and there's ways around it, I'll go the ways around it. I always have a mind on how you can get around these things anyway, and it works. Happy Christmas and Happy New Year, Les. Joseph from my lovely country, Malta. Love Thailand. Yeah, Malta's a lovely place as well. My sister loves Malta. She's going back there next year, next June. She went there for 2 weeks last year and loved it. The Chinese are clever, thinking building roads and schools in countries with healthy amounts of minerals, cobalt, etc. How's the railway coming through Thailand, Les? I don't know. But the Chinese are very, very clever. They lend money to countries that know they're going to default, but there's always a big payback with ports and cities and infrastructure and things like that. So China is sort of taking over the little bit of the world by stealth, lending money to these countries that they know they're going to default. And then they'll take over little bits of the country. Let's hope they don't do that to Thailand. There is a little bit of argy-bargy going on at the minute in Chiang Mai because the Chinese are buying a lot of properties in Chiang Mai, and the Thai people don't particularly like it. So yeah, the Chinese are doing what the Russians are doing in Phuket. The Russians are buying everything in Phuket, renting everything. So everywhere sky high prices in Phuket, and the Chinese are doing the same in Chiang Mai. Now, although foreigners can't own properties, there are lease agreements and things like that. So, but they're still taking the housing and the properties off the market by doing such things. So the Thai people aren't very happy with it. I'm relieved you decided to keep the car. 70k mileage is nothing. Waste of money to buy a new one. Yeah, again, as I'm going to come on to that story now. What sort of made the ultimate decision not to buy it, or not to buy another Nissan? I like the Nissan. I've got to say, I looked at the Honda City as well. But same thing, just struggling to get in with my head. I have to bend it down and think, I don't want to be doing this every time I get in and out of the car. So the Nissan was going to win, and then we decided, okay, enough was enough. We're going to keep the car that we got. So the car that we got, we because we're going on a big holiday, and we put new tires on the front because we put new tires 6 months ago. So we had the tires rotated around. So the new tires went on the front, and the lady picked up on the bottom of the suspension, I call it, I don't know nothing about cars, so I don't know the proper description, but at the bottom of the suspension, there's like a wing with a steel plate and some rubber bushes on. And she said, they're cracked and perished. I didn't look, I believed what she said. And I said, yeah, okay. And they said it was 5,600 baht to get them fixed. Now, I remember the previous Nissan that I had, same Nissan Almeria, same thing happened, and Nissan charged me 3,500 at the Nissan garage. So I thought, go back to Nissan to get them replaced. So we went into Nissan, showed him what needed to be replaced. He said, okay, we haven't got any in stock, we'll order them. And my wife did all the negotiation. He said 6,500, and I complained. I said, well, it was 3,500 a number of years. I mean, you're talking about 7 or 8 years ago. So I think, okay, things are gone. Okay, 6,500, but the genuine Nissan parts, blah, blah, blah. We made the decision. He said, let's go and get it done on Friday. So we were there 8 o'clock Friday morning with the car in. We booked it in, doing all the paperwork, and he showed us the paperwork and 8,900. So I obviously 6,500, 8,900. What's gone on? And they said, oh, that includes fitting. And my wife says, well, no, the guy said 6,500. Oh, yeah, that's just for the parts. And then it's fitting on top of that. No, she said. The guy said 6,000. No, it's 8,900. So I said, take the car off the ramps, give me the car back. Thankfully, they hadn't started anything. So he said, no, 8,000. No, give us the car here. And he said, well, we've already ordered the parts. She said, no, you told us 6,500 and now it's 8,900. No, we're going to take the car away. So we took the car away, and that was the ultimate decision then. No, I wouldn't put my car in part exchange for a Nissan because of that. I was ripped off by garages in the UK. I don't know anything about cars, and Nissan trying to do the same over here, ripped me off and charged an extra almost 3,000 baht. We took it back to the garage. I put and the guy in the Nissan garage said it's going to take 4 hours to do. 4 hours. And I remember the last time they did it, it took an hour. So I'm thinking, why are they doing it for 4 hours? And Blaise said, I don't know. She said, I don't know nothing about cars. We drove back to the Dunlop garage that put the tires on. And she said, yeah, drive it in, straight in, even though all the bays were full, straight in. 30 minutes later, we came out 5,600 baht. Absolutely. 30 minutes, not 4 hours, 30 minutes, 5,600. So happy days. So again, just because I'm clever, there's many things I can do, DIY, electrics and stuff like that. But cars, I have no idea about cars. So I just go by, hopefully people are honest, and it proved to me that Nissan, their workforce or their staff at the end of the day weren't honest. 6,500. I asked my wife, I said, why didn't he tell you how much with the price? She says, I don't know. He said 6,500. I thought that was included for everything, but no, she said, then they wanted to charge us for fitness. Crazy. Anybody else have any experiences of that, of getting ripped off by a main dealer garage? Right. The way the UK is getting run, Les, there will be means testing on the UK pensions, so retire early, blow the lot before you're 67, 68. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the ancestral roots of the people in China, Chinese, Thai, things like that. Yeah, I can understand that working also. Yeah, the garage, a Falang price to try to charge you. Yeah, again, it's just crazy, isn't it? Sorry to ask, Les, but did they actually change the parts? Did you check? Yes, I did. Because in the garage, the Dunlop garage, we actually sat in the workshop and watched them do it. So I was happy with that. And they always, in Thailand, which is good, really, is that if they change any parts, they give you the old parts so you can see. And so they give us the two suspension wings. And sure enough, yeah, the rubbers were a little bit perished. Maybe it's not as bad as what I thought she was telling us. But the change now anyway, 5,600, just over 100 quid. And but it does make a difference on the steering. It just feels a lot more, a bit more solid than what it was. And the other thing that we got done on the car as well, we got the new TV monitor inside the car. The one that we had was when we bought the car, it was just a radio, and we wanted the car screen that you could have the YouTube and you could have the maps on it as well and various other bits and pieces. But that was 5 years old, and we took it back to the garage that fitted it, and he tried to do an update because the maps were very, very, very slow, and sometimes it went off and sometimes they didn't. So that I wasn't very happy at that. So we went to another garage where they sold the car radios and TVs and that. And the old TV was a 9-inch TV, and he said we can upgrade it to a 10-inch TV, which is like, I mean, it's massive. It really is massive. So we had the upgrade. We had the TV put in, and you can have a split screen, so you can have the maps on one side and then the YouTube on the other side. We had a camera put into the car, so it records the trip on a loop. So if there's an accident, it's caught on camera, if you like. And included with the price was a rear camera. So when we reversed, we never had that before. We just had the beepers on the bumpers. So if you got close or anything, it beeped. But now it's got the camera and the markers type of thing, which is brilliant. It's really, really good to watch what's behind you when you're reversing. It's good. So that was another 8,300. So altogether, we've spent another 20,000 baht on the car. But she's all ready now to do the long trip, 17 hours to Ban Rak Thai, and it's going to be about another 24 hours to drive back because we're driving a sort of different location. So it's brilliant. I'm over the moon with it. The TV, and I've that's on there, and I've got an app put on that plays all of the English radio stations, any English radios, Heart, Smooth, Radio 1, Radio 2, GB News. It's got all of their maps on it, just on one app, and it just shows you, just press the button, clear as day. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Over the moon with it. Yeah, great result with the colours. Always worth what? Yeah, it was in this case. It just goes. I mean, Nissan 8,900. Be Quick, that was about 10,000, and Dunlop 5,600. Big difference, really, isn't it? Was it your heart or your head which made you uproot from the UK to live in Asia? Was it a slow process or instant? Okay, I'll let you have a think about this one, whether it was slow or whether it was instant. My girlfriend told me, my wife told me on Boxing Day she was going to divorce me on New Year's Eve because we met on a New Year's Eve. So Boxing Day, we had a big argument. She told me she was going to divorce me on New Year's Eve. So at the time, I was in Redcar and we lived in Southampton. So I drove all the way to Southampton, 7 hours from Redcar, got all of her clothes, drove back to Redcar, give her all the clothes because she was staying at my sister's, drove back to Southampton, give the keys in the following day to the apartment that we were renting. And I was in Thailand New Year's Eve from Boxing Day. Pretty much instant, I would have thought. And I've been here ever since. So yeah, once the wife told me she was going to divorce me on New Year's Eve, and I thought it was a fitting time to divorce you because we met on a New Year's Eve. Why not finish on a New Year's Eve? Even though I'd paid 600 quid to stay in a hotel in London for 2 nights for the New Year's Eve, for the fireworks, we got tickets. And wouldn't have been so bad if she'd have paid for it and said, oh, by the way, Les, I'm going to divorce you. But no, I paid for it. And then she was going to tell me, oh, by the way, Les, I want to divorce you. Then after that, she stole £2,500 out of my account. And also she tried to, although we had agreed on a 2 years mutual separation, then it was like nobody had to pay for the divorce. Within 2 or 3 months, a solicitor advised her if she acted on the divorce for abandonment, and then I would have to pay the divorce bill, which I didn't have to pay because I wasn't habitually resident in the UK, so she had to wait for the 2 years. So yeah, was that slow or was it quick? It was quick. Yeah. The garage in England, 1,700 quid for fixing a front right power window. Yeah, same thing happened to me in the Ford garage. My friend who was a mechanic in the UK couldn't find the fault while we was belching out black smoke. So he said I'd have to go to the Ford to get it looked at. He said you'll put it on their computer thing, and the diagnostics, and it'll find out what the fault was. That was £70 to put it onto the diagnostics. And what it was I had a Ford Mondeo, and when they put it on the computer, it was the turbocharged top hose had a hole in it, which was drawing air into it, which belched out the black smoke. So they said to me, £350 to replace it, and I didn't have 350 quid. So when I phoned me mechanic friend up, who was the mechanic for the police cars and that, he said, oh yeah, no problem, Les. Top hose, he said, it's about 35 quid. He said, all told, it'd be about 60 quid to get it renewed. He said, you buy that, I'll charge you 30 quid for fitting it. He said, it's a 10-minute job. I said, oh, okay. So I was sort of, how can it be 350 quid, sort of an all-day job, compared to 35 or 30 quid that my mate was going to do it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So I bought the part, he fitted it, and I went back up to the garage, and I said, I've come to ask again about this top. Oh, have you come to book it in? I said, no, I just want to ask first. I said, is it a big job? Oh, yeah. He said, we have to take half the engine out to be able to get at it, he said. So I said, it's not a 10-minute job then? He said, no. He said, the best part of the day, 350 quid. I said, well, my friend who was a mechanic has just done it, and it took him 15 minutes, charged me 30 quid. So I'll never, ever come back to this Ford garage ever again. So again, I've been ripped off by garages and things like that. And when you don't know something, I mean, electrics and things like that, I could have ripped many people off by fudging the stories and fudging what was actually wrong with the things like that. I couldn't live with myself if I robbed people or ripped other people off, but it's disheartening when other people do that. Hi Les, I have a 2020 Nissan Almera at Nikon Ken. I feel they're always trying to rip me off, thinking Nissan is in trouble and now trying to screw money out of there. Because I think that's what happened with this time, because the old previous Nissan garage I did a few videos on it saying how reliable and how trustworthy and how good they were. But that one's since closed now, and it's the old garage. And even when I went to look at new cars, they only had 2 cars in the big showroom. And I'm thinking, well, where's all the cars? And by that time, I didn't know that Nissan were in trouble. But yeah, I think you could be right there. They're just trying to rip everybody off as much as they can. But they just don't learn, because then if you get ripped off, then you don't go back to them. And again, we were going to buy a brand new car from them. But as it was, would I buy a new car from them now? No, I won't. I'll keep my car. And now we found a garage which is sort of trustworthy until we find it. It's not trustworthy, and it's not Nissan anymore. It is a Dunlop garage that do everything. So, and it's cheaper than taking it to the Nissan garage. But they still stamp your book to say it's been serviced. You truly don't know the woman you've married until you go through a divorce. Yeah, I'll never do it again. If I want kids, I'd get a surrogate in hindsight, like Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, I went through that 3 times. I've got 4 wives, but the 3, wow, they can be vicious, as nice as nightmares to you, but no, I won't do that to you, Then take you for everything you've got. But there's many other stories. I've talked about my divorces on the videos, so I feel sorry for those guys, and hopefully a bit of an inspiration for those people who are going through a divorce or breakup or stuff like that. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and you can always survive here in Thailand. And I'll come on to that little bit of a story in a minute. Bought the wife a Honda from the main dealer in Phuket, and noticed that the majority of the lads mechanics ate in a small cafe close. I got to know them. Yeah, again, the mechanic, they're always up for a little bit of extra money if you can get a good mechanic. We've got a couple of people around the corner from us. There's always cars in their driveway. So maybe they are decent. Thank you for all your videos on senior care and assisted living in Thailand. Thank you very much for watching. Again, the assisted living, the last video that I did, 28,000 views I've had on that one. So there's a lot of people interested in it, and I will be doing more videos about it. And I might be even visiting a couple of care homes in Chiang Mai whilst I'm there. I got an invitation off one guy, and I answered him, but he's never got back in touch with us. So I might contact him again. And as we're up there, I'll ask to see if I can find out any information about it. But the assisted living here in Thailand is so affordable. It really is. Again, this is why I want to use StreamYard as I'm doing now, because then I can use references and photographs and bits of information, which I haven't got on here at the minute because this is all new to me and I'm just learning how to do it. But like, for instance, for a 24-hour medical carer over here for a month, it can be up to 40,000 baht. 40,000 baht is 850, 900 pounds a month. A month, 800 to 900, so less than £1,000 a month, you can have 24-hour medical care if you need it. In England, it's up to £1,500 per week for 24-hour medical care. So what a huge difference that is, you know, affordability over here. You can live in the 3-bedroomed house, 3.6 million. So I think that's about £90,000, something like that. Or you can live there for 30,000 baht a month, which is 700 quid a month with 24-hour nurses on call. And you can get a home health carer for 200 quid a month. So for 50,000 baht, 11 or 1,200 pounds a month, you can have somebody who cooks, cleans, takes care of you, and you can live in a nice community with lots of other expats, with swimming pool, a clubhouse, sauna, hairdressers, coffee shops. Far better lifestyle than living in the UK. Anyway, there's more videos to come about that, but thanks very much for your best wishes. Much appreciated. Keep watching because I'll be doing more. Free brake check for the old rapid quick fit cost me up. Yeah, I got done with that with my estate. Oh, we'll do a free check. Oh, this is bad, that's bad, the other bad. Yeah, I ended up paying about 500 or 600 quid for work that my mechanic friend said shouldn't have been any more than 200 quid. If you haven't not done it yet already, please create a playlist just for senior care. I've done that. I've put them onto assisted living, and they're on they should be on the playlist. 2K a week for quality nursing care in the UK. Yeah, again, as I said, just the information that I got for doing the blog, it was anywhere from 12 to 1,500 pounds a week. Again, you know, you won't get 15. Yeah, but this was just for nursing care. If you wanted accommodation for that as well, up in Redcar, the nursing home was £945 a week just for the room, just a one room. You can get a 3-bedroom detached house over here for less than that a month. You know, 30,000, 600, 700 pounds a month. You can have a 3-bedroom detached house fully furnished for that amount of money. And then like another 40,000. So for 70,000 baht, say like 1,500 pounds a month, 24-hour care in a 3-bedroom detached house with 24-hour nurse on call. Think outside of the box. 28,000 views that one video has had. So it just goes to show the interest that people have. Prices have rocketed. Yeah, I mean, for being old isn't cheap, is it? Hi, Les, got my new DTV visa last Monday. I'll be arriving on the 6th of Jan in Bangkok. Only thing I'm concerned about is the availability of accommodation in Thailand now. Oh, no problem. Absolutely no problem. You will always be able to find accommodation. And even if it's, for instance, if it was a hotel that you really, really liked and there was no vacancies, just find somewhere else and then tell them where you want to go, when you want to go, and they'll let you know if there's availability. But Booking.com and Agoda, you'll have no problem with the accommodation whatsoever. And I presume for the DTV visa, you'll be roaming around Thailand anyway. Again, as I said, even though we're going up to Pai and Ban Rak Thai and Chiang Mai over Christmas and New Year, which is ultimately the busiest time of year, there are still plenty of hotels that we're going to get. And there's in between Pai and Chiang Mai, there's 3 nights that we haven't booked anything for. So we're just going to find places that we like when we're in Pai or Chiang Mai, and we'll just look around. We'll find somewhere. You will never have a problem finding accommodation at all. So don't worry about that. And happy holidays with your DTV visa, and well done. The thought of growing old and needy in the UK is frightening. I want to end my years in Thailand and shall write it in my will to be cremated in Thailand to avoid ridiculous costs. Yeah, to have your body flown back to the UK if you die in Thailand, £20,000. To get your ashes flown back to the UK is £2,000. Put me in the sand on the beach, something like that. Yeah, cremate. It's about 80,000 baht for a celebration of life party here in Thailand. About 80 to 100,000, so it's less than 2,000 quid. But the celebration of life goes on for 4 days. It's like a big party. It's a fantastic event. It's sad that you have to, that we're all going to die and that you go through it, but it's a happy occasion because it is, as it says on the can, a celebration of life. My mother's passing, when we went to her funeral, it was £3,500, 280 quid for a bunch of flowers on the coffin that we seen for 15 minutes because we didn't live far away from the crematorium. 3,500 quid, somber affair. The wake afterwards wasn't, over and done with in an afternoon, if you like. Whereas this celebration of life goes on for 4 days, and it's fantastic. Happy people, happy smiling. Although it's a sad occasion, they make it a happy event. So yeah, my days, I won't be going back to the UK in a box or as ashes. I'll be spread around here somewhere. Yeah, heaps of accommodation in Thailand. You won't worry. Don't worry about accommodation, and it's super cheap, anywhere from a tenner upwards. Thanks for the good wishes, Les. Forgot to mention I want to rent the apartment long term, mate. I see. I'll answer that another time. Want to rent an apartment long term, mate. They seem to want 1 year contracts. Yeah, it's like everything else. You can rent it for a week, you can rent it for 2 weeks, you can rent it for a month, you can rent it for 6 months. Basically, the longer you rent the apartment for, the cheaper it is. But there are people like Airbnb or something like that. You can rent something for a month. Yeah, shop around. If one person doesn't want to give you a contract for a month or 2 months, you can turn around and say to them, well, listen, I'll rent it for a month, and if I like it, I'll rent it long term. I mean, sometimes also if you rent for a year and you've got a Rusky who lives next door to you, who's a noisy, drunk and not a very nice person, you wouldn't want to live in there for a year. So deals are out there to be got, that's for sure. But over here, for instance, if the apartment, say 10,000 baht a month, you usually pay 1 month's bond, which is another 10,000 baht. But if you leave after 2 or 3 months, even though you've only signed for a year's contract, you only lose that 10,000 baht deposit. So it's not as if they're going to come after you for the 8 or 10 months that you haven't lived there. You just forego your deposit. That's a pretty normal thing over here. And that's all you're going to lose is your 10,000 baht deposit. So yeah, but deals are there to be had. up to your negotiating skill, really. Question: any suggestions or advice on TV, broadband, digibox package, or viewing foreign channels in Thailand and estimated costs? Okay. The only things that I watch here are Netflix, and that's about $5 a month. I pay for the basic package of Netflix, and I've got a digibox that I get me Sky, not me Sky TV, me YouTube and Netflix. They're the only things that I watch, and I will not pay for TV packages to watch the crap that the TV gives out in England. When I was over there for a while, 10 minutes of programs, 10 minutes of adverts, 10 minutes of programs, 10 minutes of adverts. Absolutely sick to death of the adverts in England, when in reality, you just type in anything that you want to watch on YouTube and there will be. I like Grand Designs, A Place in the Sun and stuff like that. And if I want to watch that, I'll just type in Grand Designs on YouTube. Okay, there might be some old programs on it. But when I was in England and I was watching A Place in the Sun from 2016, 2017 episodes, and it was 2024. So I don't, not bothered about the, Coronation Street, EastEnders or stuff like that. There's more than enough TV to watch on YouTube and Netflix. Again, Netflix is whatever subscription you pay into your own place, really. But how you can get extra movies is have a VPN. Then you can say you're in America or Australia, and they have different movies on at different times of the year. So yeah, Netflix is good, and I watch YouTube. YouTube, you can type in 2 flies walking up a wet window, and there'll be a video on it. Fantastic. So I watch all the news on GB News and Sky News. So I don't need to watch any UK TV at all. I mean, I'm not a footballer, I'm not into sports. There are other IPV providers where you pay a monthly sum or a yearly sum and you get all the sports and you get all the top movies and things like that. I'm not a big TV watcher. The TV isn't on in my house until after 6 o'clock on the night. But I do have a projector and an electric screen, so I have a big 100-inch cinema screen when I watch a movie, and I've got my headphones so my wife doesn't get bothered by the bangs and whistles of watching a war movie and things like that. So yeah, because we don't go out to drinking in bars and things like that, we use the home entertainment system for my entertainment. So I hope that answers your question. So I'm not into the BBCs and stuff like that. What are your feelings on the BBC? Do you still watch it? No, I don't watch it. I don't watch the BBC. GB News, Talk TV, and Sky News. BBC, no. I was never really been a BBC fan anyway. I used to watch it, and but it was always biased, the news. So no, again, English TV doesn't bother me at all. Steptoe and Son. Yep, Steptoe and Son. You can Only Fools and Horses. Ricky Gervais. You can watch him. You can watch loads of concerts, and so there's whatever you can think of, and you type it in, there will be a movie. Movies now with YouTube, there's lots of movies, which good quality movies as well, with Jason Statham. I've just seen a couple of his movies on YouTube. So yeah, it's good. YouTube is very, very good. Steptoe and Son, used to like watching that. Billy Bob, I use a Fire Stick with an IPT service for watching sports and TVs, movies all year round, 100 quid a year. Yeah, there's a friend of mine that has the stick, the TV, the Amazon stick or whatever. He paid 60 quid a year for that, and then once it runs out, he phones the friend up who sold him it, and he just puts another code in, and it's up for another year. So there's plenty of stuff like that. Do I miss the modern movies? Yeah, I'd like to watch some of the modern movies. Sometimes on Netflix, it can be like, oh, I've seen this one, because I do watch a lot of movies and I've seen it. But the documentaries and the series, no, they're very good, because I'm not really a series or a documentary type of person. But now I've got into it. It might be 8 or 10 episodes. So I can binge watch them to like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. One morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I got to bed because I was just 16 episodes. I want to watch it, 40, 45 minutes per episode. And it's just like, as it finished, I want to see the next one. I want to see the next one now. So yeah, it's good. And like, I spend my time on YouTube, creating YouTube videos. And so I'm never bored. So I never really need to sit a long time in front of the TV. Question, can I apply for the retirement visa when I am in Thailand or before I leave the UK? Yeah, you can apply for it when you come to Thailand. That will be the O visa based on retirement. And if you do that, there's various ways you can do it. The cheapest way is doing it yourself. If you've got the 800,000 baht that you can put in the bank, they prefer that now. They used to accept the income method, but I've been told by few subscribers, no, they don't accept that now. Whereas before the income method, you used to put 65,000 baht into a Thai bank account for 2 months before your application for your retirement visa, and then they accepted that. Now they say that they want the 800,000 baht in the bank account 2 months before you can do that. There is another way around that system where you can use an agent. If you don't have the 800,000 to put in the bank, use an agent. And if it's your first application, it'll cost you about 30,000 baht. And I can recommend an agent in Pattaya who does that. 30,000 baht. I think that includes also opening up of a bank account, which is very difficult to get hold of now because of money laundering. And so for 30,000 baht, you get a 15-month visa, which is like an O visa for the first 3 months, then that converts into your retirement visa. So during that 12-month period, as long as you put 65,000 baht every month into a Thai bank account, that qualifies you for the following year to get a visa based on income method. So therefore, then you don't need an agent, and then it's 1,900 baht every year to renew your retirement visa. So that is one of the workarounds, and it's quite a good workaround because you let the visa agent do all the hard work to get it in the first place. And then as long as you put 65 in, go and see the immigration officer at least 2 or 3 months before you do that, because you're changing over from the 800,000 in the bank to the income method. And as long as you inform them that, they will tell you exactly what you need to do. But don't do it like the week before it's renewable, because you might come into some snags. Immigration officers are there to help you, not hinder you. Sometimes it's quite frustrating with them because they never ask for too much information or paperwork. They never ask for the impossible, but sometimes it can be frustrating getting all the paperwork and documents that you require. So just immigration are your friend. I watch the BBC. I wonder if the presenters are wrong uns, any sex offenders are the good old babe. YouTube is great. Yeah, the BBC have kept things undercover for so many things. So many bad people have worked for the BBC. And I mean, how sickening that they can pay a top news presenter for so many months when he's done the terrible things, but they still pay him. Yeah, well, that do you mean the IPTV service? I have a new Fire Stick, but cannot view anything as it's got blocked. What do I need to do? Your IPTV or the Fire Stick provider, whoever give you it. I used to do the boxes. Remember years ago, you used to get the Android boxes, and you used to be able to get all the movies and stuff like that. I used to do them. I used to sort things out, and I used to charge people 20 quid for doing that. But then the box providers kept getting cut down and numbers kept getting altered. So the phone was ringing everyone. Oh, Les, me TV's gone off. So I used to go around, get the codes, do the codes. So eventually it's just like, it's not worthwhile doing, because they were going off 2 or 3 times a month. So that sort of died a death to the little Android boxes. And I think the Fire Sticks will do the same. Technology will come along and they'll change the code numbers every so often, that it won't be worthwhile buying a Fire Stick eventually. I mean, £60 to £100, it's still cheap viewing, isn't it, for a year, really? But Netflix is, I think, it's £5 or £6 a month. It might be worth that if you're a sports type of person, where you can get all the sports channels and the new up-to-date movies. But YouTube and Netflix is good enough for me. I'm happy at that. Okay. Oh, getting marriage visa. Now, here's a story, my marriage visa ones. I've got my marriage visa now. It's all been sorted. I've got the sticker now until the 10th of December next year. Quick background. Why did I lose my marriage visa? Because I had to go back to England. At the time, it was renewable. So there's a system, because it's a marriage visa. You have to be in the country under the consideration process, and I wouldn't have been here. So therefore, I was told by the immigration officer to let it lapse and then apply for a new marriage visa, as if it was a brand new marriage visa, and go through all the process, which was long-winded, complicated, and not easy to get. But we got it. I got an O visa based on marriage. I applied for that to the Thai embassy, which was granted. Then I had 90 days in which to apply for the marriage visa inside of Thailand. So there was a whole heap of paperwork that needed to be done. And I like to get things done as quickly as possible. I don't like leaving it to the last. But this sort of went against me at the beginning, because I applied for it within a month. And she said, no, you can't apply for it a month before. A month after you've just got here. You've got to wait until there's 28 days left on the visa. Then you apply for your marriage visa. So we did that. We took all the paperwork in. And then she turned us down, and then she said, oh, you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this. So my wife cleverly got her to sign the paperwork to say, all the paperwork's in order. We'll see you when you come back in a month's time. So when we went back in a month's time, she says, why haven't you got this piece of paper? Why haven't you got that piece of paper? Why haven't you got this? And we said, because you didn't ask for this. We were only here last month, and you said all the paperwork is in order. So the questions that they asked was, before I went back to the UK, I was bringing over like 60,000 baht a month. And when I went back to the UK, I only transferred 43,000 baht a month. And since I come back to Thailand, I've just carried on doing that, just bringing 43,000. She asked the question, why have I dropped the amount of money? And I told her through my wife, because she had to translate, because the immigration officer didn't speak English. And she talked to the immigration officer and said, well, we don't spend that amount of money, so he only brings in what he needs to spend. Well, I want to know why his income has dropped. So then I had to supply him with a pension letter from my fire brigade pension, and I give him that. And this is the first time I've ever seen him do that. She Google translated the letter that I got from the pension service and read it. And she complained. She said, he's an American man who gets his pension from Social Security, a government organization, government agency. And because I worked for the government agency in the UK, because I was a firefighter, she said, why isn't my paperwork got a government stamp on it? I said, because it's a different pension provider. She said, well, why isn't it got a government stamp on it? I said, I don't know. I said, because they don't do a government stamp. She said, well, I want to see a government stamp. I said, well, if they don't do a government stamp, I can't get them to put a government stamp. This is the letter that I've got off them. You've had the same letter for the past 6 years, and it's always been acceptable. She says, well, this year it isn't. I said, well, there's nothing else I can do. Nothing else I can do. If they don't have a stamp, I can't get them to stamp something that they don't stamp. So she wasn't very happy at that. And then she says, where did I get me money from? I said, from Barclays Bank goes to Wise, then from Wise to Thailand Bank. She says, I want to see that the money from Wise has been transferred from your English account into Wise. I said, well, you're going to see exactly the same, because it's going to show you the same amount of money in the Thai bank account. She said, I want to see it. She wanted 12 months statement from TransferWise to say that I've taken all the money from the Barclays Bank to Wise, then into then into the Thai bank. I said, well, that's just crazy. It's because you're just going to see the same numbers. So then she said, okay, that not 12, I want 1 month. 1 month to show that the money's come from your Barclays account in England to Wise to Thailand. I said, yeah, okay, I can do that. And then as we were going out, she said to my wife, no, she said, make that, I want 2 months. I want 2 months proof that it went from Barclays to TransferWise. Okay, so they've never ever asked for that before. So I've got them that. They've done that and they've accepted that. But it's just crazy. I mean, it's not impossible to do, but when they've already told you you've got all the paperwork in order, they move the goalposts all the time. And so every immigration office isn't the same. Some immigration offices are more tolerant and lenient than others. The one that we've got in our office, she's horrible. Nobody likes her. But thankfully, she finishes next October. She's retired. So she's training somebody else up. I mean, on the tenancy agreement, she shouted at me, where's the stamp? Where's the stamp on your tenancy agreement? And Ploy said, what stamp? We've never had a stamp. She said, you've done the paperwork for 6 years. You need this stamp. You need this stamp. Shouting at my wife. And Ploy said, well, where do I get the stamp from? So she rustled around in a bit and she said, there you go. There's the stamp that you need. Ploy said, how much was it? She said, 10 baht. Getting angry because he didn't have the bloody stamp on, 10 baht. And all she did was put it on the paper, photocopy the paper, and she said, keep that stamp now. Keep it, and then you can photocopy it every year. So why get angry over it in the first place? Why not just say, oh, you need the stamp? We have a stamp here, it's only 10 baht, then you do this, blah, blah, blah. But no, I shouted at my wife because we didn't have the stamp on the tenancy agreement. Crazy. But this is Thailand, TIT, this is Thailand. All right. So can I bring my dodgy almonds and stick and use it in Thailand? That would be great. Yes, apparently you can buy a dodgy stick and bring it to Thailand. Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of friends who've got the sticks and they said it works fine. They said it works very good. So, oh, there we go. Okay, that's that scrolling. Everybody knows my email address now anyway. It's been going through the thing at the bottom there. But yeah, for those people who've just come in, type of thing, we're off to Ban Rak Thai for the summer. Not for the summer, for the winter. And this is where we're going to go. And this is where we're going to stay in one of them houses there overlooking the lake. It's very, very cold in the winter because it's got a big Chinese influence, but we're looking forward to that. And then we're going to go to Pai. Pai is just a wonderful location. I could live in Pai, even though it's not near the sea. It's such a stunningly beautiful location. And then for New Year's Eve, we're going to Chiang Mai. And this is where we're going to go and let our lanterns off in Chiang Mai itself. So this is our plans for Christmas. What's your plans for Christmas? What do you intend to do in Thailand? It's a wonderful place to live, Thailand. So many opportunities. I mean, Bangkok and Pattaya are fantastic for New Year's Eve. The amount of fireworks that get set off there is brilliant. It really, really is good. So what's your plans? What's happening to people who are living in Thailand? What are you doing over Christmas? Leisure Thai immigration hassles are the reason we use an agent. They do everything and make it so. Yeah, I mean, agents wave their magic wand and it works. It's great. But I'm sort of, it's just me. If I can do it myself, I'll do it myself. It might take a little bit longer. It might be a little bit more frustrating, but I know it's done. And okay, the agents, there's a lot of people who say agents are frauds and things like that, and it's, you know, it's not legal. But there's more agents now than there was when I first came here 12 years ago. So that just goes to show that the power of the agents. There's so many brown envelopes flitting about. So I doubt very much that the agents will be a thing of the past. They keep cracking down on them every now and then. And there are sometimes dodgy agents. So if you use an agent, go by recommendations. There's a couple of agents down in Phuket who've ripped like hundreds, 200 or 300 people off, and they've all lost their visas. Agents have run away with their money. So use a trusted agent. Go by recommendations, what other people say. Again, as I say, I recommend 1 or 2 agents in Pattaya, and I always send people there because they're reliable. Christmas in Bangsaray, and the kids, the New Year's in Buriram, and the wife's family, good times. Yeah, sounds good. Highlight show, great show as always. Where did you get the screen and the cameras fitted, please? That was at the Big C, one of the, there's plenty of automotive stores at Big C's and Tesco's and stuff like that. And this was at the Big C in Rayong, and it only took an hour to fit, and everything was done. And there's a year's warranty with it. And yeah, it was brilliant. I'm going to do a video on it anyway in the next day or two, because it'll have to be the next day or two before we go. And I'm just super impressed with it. 10-inch, it's a massive screen, but the things that you can do with it is brilliant. And especially the front camera as well, because the camera is the same make as the radio that went into the car. So therefore it all matches, and they hid all the wires as well. So there's no trailing cables here everywhere. It's all plugged in together, and it all works seamlessly. It really, really is good. 8,000, I think 8,300. That's about 170 quid. You'd pay that just for somebody, for an hour's work for an automotive guy to even look at your car. So no, that was my Christmas present to myself. Visa agents are very expensive. Marriage visa from an agent about 40. Yeah, well, marriage visa, there's a lot of work to be done with the marriage visa, but in reality, you've done the agent's work, because you have to get all of that paperwork anyway. And the immigration still comes and sees you at your house and your location. So I can understand people using an agent for the normal retirement visas, but for the marriage visa, you have to do a lot of that work yourself, getting all the paperwork to give to the agent in the first place. But I agree. I mean, there's a lot more paperwork to be done. So 40,000 baht really isn't that expensive for the amount of paperwork that needs to be done with that. But again, if you're on a marriage visa, all the paperwork is sort of self-explanatory, really, because what we do, we make 3 copies of it. You have to give 2 to the immigration office anyway, so we make 3. So every time we go, and if there's a piece of paper that you want extra, we'll make a note of it, so the following year we have that piece of paper. And like with this year, she says, we don't need that, we don't need that, we don't need that, whereas the year before they wanted it. So now we just keep that into a separate file. So hopefully one day, and we've been doing this for 6 years now, one day she'll ask for something and we'll just open the folder, there you go. So there's nothing, absolutely nothing she can ask for. But this year she wanted the transfer-wise statement. I mean, thankfully, I just come back home, printed them off on the computer. It took me about 20-25 minutes to do all the paperwork, and then we went back the following day, give her the paperwork, and she was like, okay. So again, it's like not impossible, but next year I'll go with 12 months transfer-wise receipts, so she can't say anything about it. That'll take me another 30 minutes or so to sort it all out, print it all out, put it in double, because it has to be in 2 piles. So then we'll make a 3rd pile. So again, we've got even more information. So eventually there's nothing she can ask for Fingers crossed. If I was married, I would still get a retirement visa, less hassle. Yeah, it's true, but the other side of the coin on this one, if you're married and the tax comes in, you get a bigger tax allowance if you're on a marriage visa than you do on a retirement visa. Because a retirement visa, even though you're married, I believe, because you're not on a marriage visa, you'll still pay a single person's tax because you're on a retirement visa. But don't quote me on that. This is what somebody told me. So you've got more benefits or more allowances you can claim for being married than you are just on a retirement visa. What is the reasonable immigration agent cost for proceeding retirement visa in Thailand? Again, the guide that I send people to is about 30,000 baht. That includes opening a bank account as well, which is normally 4,500 to 5,000 baht anyway. So you can get it for, there's other retirement visa offers for about 50 to 60,000 baht. But when all said and done, a retirement visa is a retirement visa. And with the agent that I send people to, you get picked up in a car, you get took to the immigration office in Jomtien especially, and you're in and out 5 minutes, you get a photograph taken, and several weeks later, you get your retirement visa. It's easy, it's no hassle. You're not sat in queues upon queues upon queues in Jomtien. You only need to go to the immigration office once in Jomtien, and you see how packed and how busy it is, because there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of expats all going there at the same time. And I believe also that the visa agent does your 90-day reports as well. So you basically don't have to set foot in the immigration office until the following year to renew it. And that's about 30,000 baht. Les, have you been to Udon? What's it like if you have? I only went to Udon once. A friend of mine built a house about 30 kilometers past Udon. So we only stayed in Udon for a couple of nights. It's a cheap place to live, right up in the sticks. Apart from that, I just know the hotel in Udon. So I don't really know a lot about it, but there's a lot of people, a lot of expats up in Udon. So maybe it's going on to the Udon expats club. They might be able to let you know what it's like to live there. Question, can you do a comparison between the DTV and retirement visa? I think there's too many hoops with the retirement visa. No, I think I don't know 100% about the DTV visa, but there's certainly some hoops to jump through for the DTV visa as well. The thing is with the DTV visa is it can last up to 5 years, which is good. And it's easy to renew it once you've got it, which is good. And the fact that you can have it for 5 years is good. I don't know roughly. I've heard reports it's 10,000 baht to get the DTT visa if you match all the criteria. Again, agents can do that for you as well. But it's worthwhile asking the question. Retirement visa, you come and go. It's not difficult to do. If you've got the 800,000 or if you've got the 65,000 baht method, it's 1,900 baht a year to do. And for me, if you're putting 65,000 into a Thai bank account every month, it's so easy to do once you've got it in the first place. The difficulty, like with every visa, is once you're trying to get it the first time, it may feel complicated or, a lot of challenges are put in your way. But once you've got it, it's easy enough to renew. A retirement visa, you're in and out within 30 minutes in the immigration. The marriage visa, it might be an hour going through all the paperwork. And then you have to go back again. And then you have to have the home visit. So it's much more complicated, the marriage visa, than the retirement visa. But the DTV visa, there's still hoops to jump through with that one as well. My extension retirement takes me an hour at the immigration. Well, yeah, an hour. Yeah, I've seen people in and out within 15, 20 minutes. It depends how busy the immigration officer is at the end of the day. Unless that income tax is not confirmed, unless it is published in the Royal Gazette, it's not happening. Yeah, again, many people have asked me the tax question, what my thoughts are about it. I haven't got a tax invoice number or a tax identification numbers yet, because there are plenty of companies out there that'll say they'll get you your tax ID number for 7,000 baht, and you might not even need it. So why pay 7,000 baht at the end of the day? It's up to them to publish what they require, and they've been saying they're going to do this for the past year. So there is going to be no punishment or no fines to pay if you're late paying your tax, because at the end of the day, they haven't given you time to be able to do it. There's still a lot of and ahs and like, oh, it might be this, might be that, might not be this, might. For me, cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm not worried about it. I'm not doing anything else about it. I'll just wait until it comes and it's published in the Royal Gazette as what you say. There will be a million videos about it on every YouTuber, and his dog will be on it. You need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do the other. The best person to ask for would be a tax expert, not a YouTuber, because a YouTuber, my tax is going to be totally different to another person that comes from the UK. Everybody's going to be totally different. And as far as I'm aware, there is nowhere near enough tax accountants or tax experts that can solve everybody's tax problems throughout the whole of Thailand. It's a logistical nightmare, and hopefully they'll just bury it like they did, because the same tax agreements were around 10 years ago, but they just decided not to enact on it or act on it. They're just like, oh, just forget about that because it's too complicated to do. So let's hope it's still complicated to do, which I think it is, and they'll just turn a blind eye and just say, if you're retired and you're on a pension, there's nothing to pay. Like the Americans, if you're on Social Security alone, then there's no tax to pay. DTV cost 300 quid, got it within a week. Oh, that always got 300 quid. Oh, that's very good. Is that £300 every year when you renew it, or is that just £300 for the first year? Then how much does it cost to renew it? Because I thought you needed to have a certain amount of 500,000 baht in the bank or something like that, or you had to show that you've got funds to sustain yourself and things like that. Again, there's a lot of hoops out here that you've got to go through to be able to get that. But it just sounded a good visa for digital nomads and things like that. But it's like everything else. They may change the goalpost this time next year. May turn around and say, oh, well, we're not going to accept the DTV visa now. Who knows? Nobody knows for that. Yeah, 180 days. It's 180 days. Then you can renew it the first time, I believe, in Thailand. And then the second time, you've got to leave the country and come back in again. So is that £300 every 180 days? So that works out at 600. If you have to do that every time you do it, it's 600 quid a year, which still isn't too bad, is it? Really, it's the same as a retirement visa is 30 grand for the first year, and then it's 12 to 15,000 to renew it every year with an agent. So a retirement visa could be half the cost of the DTV visa. Multi-entry, which is good. But again, the multi-entry, it's only good £300 for a 5-year visa. All right. Oh, well, if that's the case, that's very good. That was some controversy over. Somebody said it was going to be 300 quid or so. Well, I heard £500 every time you did the 180 days, which was quite expensive. Can stay for 180 days maximum, then either pay 1,900 to extend it or do a visa run. Yeah, it's 1,900 baht to do the extension. You can do that once in Thailand, then the next time it has to be a border run. Yeah, can come and go as many times as you please in 5 years. Oh, that sounds very, very good. I need to look into that a little bit more, because I I'm usually pretty hot on visas and workarounds and things like that. But the DTV visa, there's not many people have asked me for it because they've never asked for me. The most common one is the tourist visa and the retirement visa, which is sort of old news, really. Everybody's been doing that. So that's the only thing they've ever asked for. The DTV visa, I suppose there's lots of stuff out there on the internet, and it's a new visa. So anyway, well done. That's news to me. I will look into that. I will look into that because I'm sure more people will ask me about that one. And I'm usually quite hot on visas. Thanks very much for that. £300 for 5 years. Very good. And that's the thing with the DTV visa. Okay, if you plan on leaving the country after a certain time to keep it. Yeah, again, I suppose it is a little bit of an upheaval where every 180 days you're going to have to leave the country, whereas at least with the retirement visa, you can stay here for a year unless you want to go out of the country and that. So swings and roundabouts. In my early days, I did the visa runs every few months or so. That was a bit of a pain in the backside, doing the visa runs, going to Cambodia for the day, getting out, jumping back in the van and coming back again. It was just like a waste of a day. And I'm thinking, well, why can't they just do that at the Thai office? Just say, listen, if you want to stay, there's another stamp. It'll cost you twice as much. And people would still pay. You have to provide you are a digital nomad. I deal in stocks and shares and Bitcoin, so I can do anywhere in the world. Oh, well, so there is a couple of hoops to jump through then. Yeah. If you own a limited company, you can sponsor yourself as a digital nomad. Yeah, retirement visa is easy if you have the requirements. I suppose it's like everything. There's requirements for everything, isn't it? The marriage visa, there's so many hoops to jump through. The retirement visa, there's hoops to jump through. Education visa, there's hoops to jump. So I think no matter where you go in the world, immigration, nobody likes immigration. Apart from England, where you just get everything, you just arrive in on a big rubber boat and you get everything given to you for 2 years. And you get legal advice, and you get help with everything, and you get translators. Yeah. Maybe if I go back to the UK, I should hop on a rubber boat in France and get me 4-star hotel. But no, I think nobody likes immigration. Everybody's got a bit of a fear, like police. Nobody particularly likes the police, do they? If you get stopped by a policeman, ultimately there's something wrong, or there's something they're going to ask for, and there's team money involved as a rule. £60 a year, not 50. Good. That's good. Very good. I think you've got a few people interested on that one, so I think you might get a few more private messages for that. But well done, well done. So we're at 5:27 p.m. 5:20. Another 30 minutes or so, and it'll be dark. So it's been good. I don't know how many thumbs up. I've got 91 people watching still, which is good. So if anybody got any other questions, please fire away while I'm here. I'll answer everything and anything that I can do. And do the agents in Thailand do a DTV? I think some of them do, yes. Yes. It's like any visa. There's always somebody who's going to do something. I mean, the agent that I send people to in Pattaya, he doesn't do marriage visas, but he does the normal retirement visas, and he also does the education visas. Now, the education visas, they've got a bit of a clamp down on that at the minute as well, and that can be embarrassing if you come back to, for instance, if you went on holiday and you come back and they ask you some questions, if you're on education visa learning Thai, and then you can't speak Thai, then they can flag it up and deny entry into Thailand. But what I say to people, if they want to go through that process, going on a education visa, Muay Thai boxing, and then what they're going to do, ask you for some moves for kickboxing and stuff like that. and that's more difficult to prove that you're not learning anything than it is on a education visa learning Thai. No hoops on the retirement extension. No, because once you've got your retirement visa, you're all set up. If you're paying your 800,000 or you've got your 800,000 in the bank, which is the easiest way, but it ties your 800,000 up, or if you're on the income method at 65 a month, shouldn't be any hoops at all. Going tomorrow to do the retirement visa, went early in the week, but for some obscure reason, the banks were unable to do a statement for a year until tomorrow. Filled in the paperwork. Yeah, it usually takes a week or 2 weeks. If you want a year statement, it'll take a week or 2 weeks. But if you want 6 month statement, they'll do it there and then. Yeah, so always go to the bank early, at least 2 weeks before you need it. Did it myself. Apparently they're in Thailand who will do it for you. It's new and they won't encourage people to come. So I found it was very easy. I hope you do. Question, can you renew a British passport in Thailand? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But it's probably twice the price what you'd pay if you went back to England. I mean, I lost a year on my passport because I went back to England, and I had a year and a half of it to run before it ran out. So I applied for a new 10-year passport, and they give me 10 years from when I started. So I lost about a year's worth of passport, but in the big scale of things, it wasn't bad. And I got a 56-page passport as well, as opposed to a smaller one, because we intend to do a lot more traveling, and you know, the visa stamps sort of take a whole page now. So that's what we did. I did it by post. Well, everything was over and done with within 2 weeks. You can go for the same day service, and that worked out at, I think, 240 quid for the same day service. And that was up at Durham when I was there. And I decided not to do that because for me, I was there for a number of months anyway, so I wasn't really in a big hurry. So I did that. 140 quid, I think it cost, something like that. So it's not prohibitively expensive, but yes, you can do it in Thailand. There's various people who do it. Contact the Thai embassy and they'll let you know what the cost is. Yes, done it through an agency, that done everything, just had to fill a paperwork and send to them. So how much was that, Martin, if you don't mind asking, to get your passport renewed? Liz, if you had to leave Thailand tomorrow and move country, where would you pick and why? If I had to do that tomorrow, I'd go to Vietnam. I love Vietnam. Vietnam was a very, very close second choice to live. Okay, the same thing goes in there. They try to rip all foreigners off, type of thing. So, but Vietnam was stunningly beautiful. Sapa is probably one of the most beautifulest places I've ever been to around the world. And I traveled around the world for a year, and I've been to like Fiji, Hawaii, all the top destinations, New Zealand, Australia, and Sapa. For me, I tell everyone, it's got the wow factor. Stunningly beautiful. And in fact, the first year that when I get my retirement money, we're going back to Sapa for 2 weeks because it's just stunningly beautiful. And we're going to do a bit more traveling around Vietnam. But we like that very much. So that would be the country I would move to. Ticky box lists for other countries I'd like to go to. Laos. We've never been to Laos. I'm not too bothered about Cambodia. I've not heard pretty good things about Cambodia, but Laos, stunningly beautiful. So we'd like to give that a try. I've been to China, I've been to Japan, been to India, the Maldives. I'd like to go to the Maldives, but as far as countries to live in, maybe Portugal. Portugal is on the list of places I've not been to, but Portugal is high on the list of people where they want to live. I just don't want to go back to a cold country such as the UK. I like Italy. Italy was my favourite country. If I could afford to live in Italy, I would live in Italy. Stunningly beautiful country, but just very, very expensive to live in. Thailand is cheap and cheerful, and it is not without its problems. It's not the best place in the world, but for me, my lifestyle that I've got here ticks all the boxes. I could never, ever, ever afford this in any of the other countries that I've mentioned, apart from Vietnam, probably. But Vietnam is a little bit more difficult for visa-wise. They don't have a retirement visa there. The Philippines, I've never been to the Philippines. I've heard good and bad reports about the Philippines. In fact, now one of my friends is over the Philippines doing a bit of research for me as far as cost of visas and cost of accommodation for those people who want to do the visa runs with regard to getting their state pension increased, because it's a reciprocal country. So there's more videos to come with that, with the costs and how to do it. But that'll be early next year to do it. But there's 3 people I know that are doing it already, and that's all working. And I'm just waiting for the info from them to come for costs and experiences and see how they got on with it. How do you spell that place in Vietnam? Sapa. Yeah, that's it. S-A-P-A. Stunningly beautiful. Absolutely stunningly beautiful. You get on the overnight train from Hanoi, and you get on 9 o'clock, and it gets you there 6 o'clock in the morning. And it's a sleeper train, which is fantastic as well. I forget how much we paid for it, but it was super cheap. And then you get a minibus that picks you up from the train station, takes you into Sapa. All the hotels are very, very nice. It's just like a European town right up in the mountains. Nice, friendly people, just stunningly beautiful. We had a hotel that overlooked the valley, and it was misty and stuff like that. It was just magical. And when we go back in a couple of years' time, that'll be the 3rd time I've been there, and I still think it's a wonderful place to go. Stunningly beautiful. But the whole of Vietnam is nice. We travelled, when we did our around the world trip, we went from southern Vietnam all the way up to northern, and we went on the buses and the trains. We didn't catch a plane, anything in Vietnam, just to get in and get out. And Hanoi was just manic, but it had the beauty of the place. I would think it's just magical places. And they say that people were friendly, which is always nice to go. I never felt threatened either in Vietnam. Same as Thailand. I've never ever felt threatened in Thailand either. No matter where we've been, never ever felt that we were getting looked at or we're going to be mugged. Not that I carry around expensive watches or jewelry, things like that. No. Vietnam. I've been to Australia. I've been to New Zealand. Australia, I couldn't understand why people like living there, because 8 of the top 10 things that can kill you in the world live in Australia, and that's not including the Australians. So Portuguese man of wars, sharks, snakes, spiders, and the list goes on. Australia is, a pretty deadly place to live. Over here in Thailand, okay, we have the snakes, we've got cobras, but thankfully in the 12 years that I've lived here, I've never seen a cobra in the raw, if you like. I've seen rat snakes and tree snakes and things like that, but nothing dangerous. But if you see a snake in Thailand, you take big steps, and it's always in the opposite direction. And you hopefully be okay. Opening a bank account, heard it can be a bit of a problematic now due to the money. Yeah. Again, I suggest using an agent. It's 4.5 to 5,000 baht to get an agent to open up a bank account for you. It's all done in a day, 2 days, but you've got to have 28 days on your visa left on your, if you can't come across on a visa exempt, 28 days, because it takes some time to be able to do it, but the visa agents can do it. 4.5 to 5,000 baht, which isn't a lot. And once it's done then, isn't it? It's a small price to pay, but so many people say I can do it. It's a bit like a chicken and egg. You know, you can't get a visa without a bank account. You can't get a bank account without a visa. So the agents are the way to go. And even at one stage, it was difficult for the agents to do it, but maybe it's the envelopes got a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier. And but it works. Your bank account is opened, and it's easy to do. And then once your bank account's opened, I mean, my card now is a debit card, and it's one of them cards that you just swipe it and it pays for things. So it's just like having a card at home. I do all my banking online. They set up all the app for you, so you can do online banking. I pay everything. The only ever time I draw money out of the bank ATM is when I draw me 20,000 baht a month for spending money. And that's the one and only time, because I get charged 30 baht for drawing it out of an ATM. And it's strange over here, because drawing it out of an ATM, although I'm with the Bangkok Bank, and the Bangkok Bank is everywhere in Thailand, because I opened up in Pattaya, if I draw money out of the Bangkok Bank ATM in Rayong, I get charged 30 baht. But if I drew it out of the ATM in Pattaya, I wouldn't get charged anything. So I asked at my bank in Rayong if I can cancel my bank in Pattaya and then open the one here. And she says I needed to go to Pattaya to cancel that one first, close the account, and then I could open the one up in Rayong. Well, because what goes on with regard to opening bank accounts, and if I did that and I come and they said no, then I'd be in a whole world of trouble. So I just thought, I'll pay the 30 baht every time I draw the money out. It's a small price to pay, isn't it? But that's weird, that, isn't it? Like my Barclays account, I can draw money out in any Barclays, any cash machine, anywhere in the UK, and you don't pay a fee for doing that. Or you didn't the last time I was there. But with a bank accounts here, if you don't live in the province and you draw money out the same machine, same bank in a different province, you pay money for it. Same as putting money into your account, you pay money to put money into your account as well. Les, do you use the True Money wallet? Find it's good for delivery from 7-Eleven. We've never got anything. The only thing that we get delivered here is from Lazada. We don't get anything delivered from 7-Eleven. My friend gets a cup of coffee delivered by 7-Eleven. A cup of coffee. He likes their coffees, and if he's run out of coffee, he'll give them a ring up, and 7-Eleven will bring a coffee for 50 baht for delivery, 25 baht for the coffee. No, I don't. No, as I say, there's a couple of friends of mine also that pay everything with the phone. You know, with the app, you just scan the app and that's it. Everything's done. I don't like that either. I like to feel the pain. I'm the old-fashioned. If you take it out of your wallet, the cash is gone. And if you have 20,000 baht in your wallet and you're down to your last 1,000, you know that is your last 1,000 because you can see it. Whereas if it's on the phone, you can just like bing, 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 and you might lose consciousness of how much money you've actually spent. I know it comes up and it flashes on the phone. This is your balance. This is your balance. But having the cash in your wallet, you know it's there. And if you lose your phone and things like that, then other people could use. I don't know. I don't really know how it works. But I take care of my wallet, and I don't put all my eggs in one basket. So I'll have, especially when we're going to the markets in Chiang Mai and Pai and stuff like that, where it's busy, where pickpockets are about. I'll have money in one pocket and I'll have something in another pocket, so I don't lose everything at once. So just taking precautions. Everybody's different, aren't they? In England, in some of the restaurants and cafes that we went to, they wouldn't accept cash. We had to pay by card, or by app. Wouldn't take cash because all the banks in the local areas were closed, so they couldn't take the cash into the banks. Crazy, isn't it? Looks like it's going dark there, Les. Same here in Manchester, but it's only 10:30 a.m. Yeah, it's another, what time is it now? 44, another 10 minutes or something, it'll be dark, yes. But again, it's been another long one. 2 hours and 50 minutes we've been going, and we've still got 86 people in the house. Wow, well done, everybody. So yeah, it's going to get dark here. The wife will be back just by now, and that's another day over and done with. But that's the thing with Thailand. I used to like the light nights at 10 o'clock at night, in the summer. But in the wintertime, when it's dark at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the evening, and it doesn't get light until 8:30 the following morning, they are long, long nights. And when I stayed at my sister's, when my mum passed, I was sleeping on the sofa, and my sister gets up at 5, 6 o'clock and goes to bed at 11. So they were very, very long days. And, sleeping on the sofa as well, it wasn't the best. So you get used to it here, getting dark between 6 and 7 o'clock. 6 o'clock is the earliest, 7 o'clock is the latest. So there's only an hour's difference because we live, very near the equator, really. So, but it's still warm sitting outside. You just sit inside, like at dusk start this now, the mosquitoes and the little nibblies will come around your legs and you try to eat you alive. But an hour after dusk, when it's dark, then you don't get bothered by the bugs. It's dawn and dusk when the bugs come out and start nibbling you. So if you can get over that, at least we don't have to sit outside with the fleece. And I'm very warm with this one because I've got my Christmas jumper on. Look at that. My Christmas fleece on. I wore that specially just for today. And all people can see is the antlers of it. Yeah. Yeah, brown envelopes are pretty useful. I've got a big drawer full of brown envelopes. Not that we've had to wheel, because I like to do things myself. There's very few times I've had to grease the wheels of movement, if you like. But it has worked a couple of times. And I've only ever been robbed by the police once. But that was a quite 1,800 baht. I got robbed by the police for tea money collection. But out of 12 years of being here, that's the only tea money collection I've ever had to pay, 1,800 baht. But in some ways, I couldn't argue against what he was saying because he had me bang to rights. Because he said that we drove away from a police checkpoint at one of the toll roads. He waved us in and we drove off. And he followed us in the motorbike. So there's no CCTV cameras or anything else like that, like I've got now in my car, because I've got a camcorder which can record everything. And because we drove away, he could have turned around and said we drove away after we've been told to stop by the police. So naivety and stupidity, I should have stopped. And then everything's under CCTV and cameras anyway. It might have been cheaper. But he wanted 5,000 baht. For what he said, I made a dangerous maneuver going into the toll booth that I went into, and the matter of the fact was there was 6 toll booths and the first 4 were full, so we drove over to the 6th one, which wasn't anything to do with the fault, but he did a look. He looked at it and he'd seen a foreigner, and he just chanced his arm, and he won, and he got 1,800, 1,600, 1,000. I think it was 1,800 he got, because he just put his hand in my wallet and he said, "Okay, that'll do." Because he wanted us to go pay 5,000 baht. I said, "You give me the white piece of paper, the white certificate." I said, "I'll go and pay it." And he said, "How much have you got?" And I said, "Listen, I've got, I think 1,000." And he just put his hand in and he took the lot. Yeah. But that was 12 years ago. Hi Les, Aussie here, Portuguese man of war. Nothing to worry about. We call them blue bottles, box jellyfish, different story. Loads of venomous snakes here, but they mainly keep to themselves. Yeah, again, we've seen all that. We're on Surfers Paradise Beach, and there was like a swarm of blue jelly, the little Portuguese man of wars coming. So all the kids came running out, and the lifeguards had all the vinegar stuff type thing that they put on. But I was like, whoa, well, I don't want to go for a swim in there then. And then we've seen the funnel web spiders and the brownbacks. When we left Sydney, we'd been in Sydney for a month. And then we went to see the Three Sisters, the mountains, And I got out of the car, and this guy said, "Watch, stop, watch what you're doing, what you're doing." I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "There's a brown-backed snake, and he's trying to whack it with the stick to try and frighten it away to get over the railings." And he just made it more angry. So, you know, it's more likely to strike somebody out of anger than it was for him trying to shoo it away with a stick. And then to say we stayed in Melbourne, and we had a nighttime tour of the funnel web spiders and other creepy crawlies and stuff like that. And I think, wow. You know, the cyclone, I worked for the Red Cross for a week in Townsville. The cyclone came and sort of wiped Townsville off the map. And I was working with the Red Cross. So there's all them things in Australia. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to live here anymore. But in my days with wanted down under, a place in the sun, I always fancied Australia. And then when I went to have a look and thinking, oh, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. But saying that, Sydney, I love Sydney, even though it was the most expensive place that we ever stayed in. Sydney and Melbourne was very nice. And then we snorkeled the Great Barrier Reef. So Australia's got some good things about it. Yeah, Da Nang, Vietnam, any opinion? Yeah, Da Nang was very pretty, very nice. Yeah, we were there for 3 days in Da Nang. When we got off the bus, we were asking the taxi drivers to take us to this particular hotel. I remember because we got off the bus, no idea where the hotel was. So there was obviously like taxis there. And I said, I want to go to this hotel. Then the bus driver came over and had a look, and he said, here, we were parked right outside of the hotel. So yeah, Da Nang was very nice. I got a Bangkok bank account in Pattaya last year and a bank account in CQ, both working in the same app on my phone. Yeah. So 2 bank accounts, but working off one app. Oh, that's strange. Because before I had the Bangkok bank app on my iPad, and then that stopped working. And they said, because it's not secure, because we could join up to any type of Wi-Fi settings, it could be, you know, compromised. So then I had to get the app put on my phone, because then it just works with the SIM card, which took an hour for the banks to do. But they did all of that lot. They were very, very good. They did all the work, and it was just brilliant. And now it's more secure because it works off my SIM card as opposed to working off a shared hotspot somewhere. Hi, Les, watching from the Philippines. You're right about the UK weather. I will definitely not miss it. Already dark here, but the t-shirt and sandals and the barbecue is loving it. Good. Hopefully my wife, when she comes back from selling the sausages, might have a few sausages left, so we might have a bit of a barbecue tonight when she comes back. We'll wait and see. Hey up, Les, back again. Melbourne and Perth are nice. I never got to Perth, but Melbourne, we ended up going to Melbourne because we were going to go to the Great Barrier Reef, but then the cyclone hit at Townsville, so we veered off. We spent Christmas and New Year in Sydney, which was, wow, mega expensive. And then we went to Melbourne, and then we came back to Sydney, and it was Australia Day. So again, just a fantastic time. I met some lovely people in Sydney. Very, very nice. Good memories of Sydney. Just expensive to live there. Don't think the state pension would be enough to live on in Australia. No, Sydney, we stayed in a hostel over Christmas week, between Christmas and New Year. It was £120 a night in a hostel in Kingstown, which was sort of the red light area of Sydney. We didn't know, but we soon found out. We're thinking, oh, these girls are just standing around doing nothing. Oh, they were making money. Perth is lovely as well, but Oz is expensive now, yeah. Jackson, yeah, the dogs on the corner were noisy last night. Yeah, well, they must have been having a meeting, seeing what they're going to do, see who's been chasing after motorbikes and cars and things like that. So as that local dog who had the oil can around his neck, is he still without the oil can on his neck? Because what they do here with the Thai dogs, if they chase after motorbikes, the owners chain an empty oil can around the neck. So obviously they can't run with this oil can banging against the feet type of thing. And that's a persuasive measure to stop them from running after motorbikes. But sometimes when the dogs get the oil can taken off, they'll run after the motorbikes again. Then the oil can goes on again. But yeah, soy dogs, sometimes they'll have a meeting on the corner or wherever, and they'll all just bark away. We've got 3 or 4 dogs here. They're always barking at each other. You know, they're always having a scrap when the guy comes out that gives them food. You know, they're always top dog type of thing, and but you just get used to it. Hi Dave, retire, don't give up. This is the guy that I'm talking about, Dave. When I do my next live stream, it's going to be on the 2nd of January up at Dave's place at Pair. So that's about 4 hours away south of Chiang Mai. And we're going to do a double live stream. We're going to do one on the 2nd for me, and that'll be 3 o'clock in the afternoon to catch the English guys in England. And then we're going to do on the 3rd, 8 o'clock in the morning, and that'll get all of his Canadian friends. So Dave is one of my subscribers who I met for the first time a year ago. An interesting guy. He's pulled the trigger. He's moved from from Canada over to Thailand. He's married a Thai girl now. So if you want any information as far as newbies are concerned, what to do, what not to do, Dave's the man. He can tell you if he's made any mistakes. He's bought motorbikes, he's fixed cars, he's renovated the house, he's done all sorts of things. So Dave is an interesting guy. So have a look at his channel, Retired, Don't Give Up. It's worth a look, and it's good to look at. Yeah, he's fixed now. He just watches them. He's a lovely German Shepherd, beautiful dog, very, very friendly. This is my penultimate winter. May the 12th, 2025 will be 500 days to retirement. Not that I'm I had a countdown clock in my lock. I had a countdown clock for my retirement, and I loved it. And I put it on a year before I retired, and like every time I opened my lock, I think there's another 4 days gone. There's another 4 days gone. Loved it. It's something to look forward to. But spend that time planning, get all your ducks in a row, ready to make the big move wherever. I just so look forward to retirement. Many people fear it, but I look forward to it, and I loved it. So best wishes on the 12th of May 2025. Best wishes already for you. There you go. It won't be long, but it'll pass like that as well. May. Well done. Yeah, looking forward to it. Good for it. Not looking back. Yeah, don't look back. Don't look back at anger. You're here to stay. Tons of mistakes. Yeah, we all make mistakes. You know, it's a learning curve, Thailand. But again, it's like everything else. When you listen and talk to somebody can guide you and you can say what, but when all said and done, you make your own path and you make your own roadway. But information is power, and Thailand is a slippery place to be, and you can lose a lot coming here, but you can have a good time over here as well. It's buyer beware when you come over to Thailand, but I wouldn't like to think I'd live anywhere else in the world. Thailand is a wonderful place, but it has its pitfalls as well. And I've lost money, different girlfriends, different ventures. I had a coffee shop. Did I lose money? No, I probably came out even, but I still give girlfriends money, you know, help somebody out, give them some money for a better life, stuff like that. One of my girlfriends, I was with her. She was a language school teacher. She wanted to be a chef. So I helped her to become a chef. And because I helped her become a chef, she got a job in America. And she asked me to go to America with her. I said, not for me. I don't want to go to America. So I sort of paid for my own girlfriend to leave me, if you like. But I'm got a happy heart because she was able to do what she wanted to do because of my generosity. And I've got no regrets. I've got no qualms. But yeah, I've made mistakes as well. And I'll stick my hand up and say, yes, I've been there, seen it, done it, got the T-shirt. And so that's why I don't mind talking about my experiences here. They all haven't been brilliant. I live with a violent Thai girlfriend. Again, I've done a video about that. She attacked me 3 times with a meat cleaver. And the last time she attacked me, I was very lucky, but then she went. But there was all sorts of problems with that leading up to that in the first place. But she was a lovely girl. She really, really was, until things started going downhill. And then because looking at the girl, butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. She was happy. Everybody liked her. She was friendly. She spoke good English. But things went downhill and it never recovered. But yeah, I talk about that in my videos, all sorts of things. So yes, retired, don't give up. Have a look at his channel. And as I said, Dave does live streams as well. He's just bought the Honda ADV 350 with the panniers on it and things like that. So yeah, interesting guy to talk to. So have a look at his. Howard Soy Dog seemed to be well behaved. We are out in the morning bicycle rides every morning at 6:30. Ooh, 6:30. Well, saying that, I was sat outside having a coffee this morning at 6 o'clock. Beautiful sunrise. Lovely girl with an axe to grind, or meat cleaver. Yep, it was a meat cleaver, and twice I went to the police station covered in blood because she attacked me with a lump of 2B2 and defensive wounds. All my arms were cut, and she hit me over the head with a bottle. And I just went to the police station, and because the police station was only around the corner, and the policeman came round, said, "Do you want us to arrest her?" I said, no, I just wanted to tell her to stop it. And she just trashed all of my equipment, about 100,000 bahts worth of, DVDs and cameras and hard drives and the video. And she tried to, it's only because the coffee machine was so heavy, it took 2 people to put the coffee machine on the counter. She tried to pull that off and smashed that on the floor. But she got the grinder. The grinder was 350 quid and she smashed that on the floor. Coffee grinder. So yeah, I've had my ups and downs. So it's not been perfect sailing for me living in Thailand, but I can talk about it and I laugh about it, and I still don't blame the girl for what she did. She did what she did. I don't carry grudges with anybody. I just move forward. You can't do nothing about the past, but you can do everything about the future. Peter, happy Christmas, ladies. I'm going to crack a few beers now and FaceTime family in the UK. Happy New Year. So, yep, Happy New Year. Thanks very much for joining us, Peter. Welcome. I've got a Samsung and Coke waiting for me after I finish with this. Oh, and I've got to upload my keto diet video. So this will probably, well, it will be the last live stream until January the 2nd. So I'm going to make a few videos, and I might be able to post the videos whilst I'm doing nothing apart from admiring the view. So thanks very much for everybody for joining in. I think we might call that a day as well, because it's 3 hours and 8 minutes. So we've done the 3 hours, which has gone by like that. It's dark, and the things are nibbling in my feet now. So thanks very much for everybody for joining. Yeah, it might if she cut something off. So, okay, I'll see you soon, Dave. Enjoy your Christmas and New Year. And everybody, have a fantastic Christmas, have a fantastic New Year. And remember, next year, think outside of the box. It's your life. Have a happy life. Retire as soon as you can, for as long as you can, and enjoy it. So thanks very much. Oh, Mark, again, much appreciated. £10. Thank you very much, Mark. I can mention you this time because the last time I missed it. But thanks very much for the super chat donation. Much appreciated. Happy Christmas. Happy New Year, everybody. Bye for now.